It's been a long time coming, but it is finally here, the StardewValley mega modded full movie. Hi everyone, my name is Sav, and welcome to this very long video. I downloaded over 100 mods, ranging from expansion packs to quality of life features and various aesthetic mods, which you can find linked down below. The goal of this series was to reach perfection, so come along with me as I explore the world of modded Pelican Town, befriend new people and creatures, discover the mysteries of Ridgeside Village, encounter terrifying new monsters, and challenge myself to do absolutely everything there is to do in the game. Don't have much more to say about the intro, now sit back, maybe grab a snack, and enjoy the video. While I'm setting up my character, let's talk about the goals I have for year 1. As per usual, I want to try and complete the community center. Emphasis on try, I have a little surprise regarding the community center, which I'll talk about later. I want to upgrade my house at least once, and possibly get one tool to iridium quality. That's about it. I settled on the name Moonlight Farm, still to this day I can never come up with my own farm names, and here we are on the new map. This being a modded run, I of course had to play on a modded farm, and we're playing on the Immersive Farm 2 Remastered. I cleaned up a little area and planted the free parsnip seeds that I got from Lewis, crafted my first chest, and made my way into town, where I immediately got a cutscene with Lewis and Lenny, one of the new characters. As I mentioned in the beginning, I am playing with 2 expansion mods, being StardewValley Expanded and Ridgeside Village. Lenny is Lewis' bigger sister and chief administrator of Ridgeside. I'll talk more about the expansions a bit later. I stopped by Pierre's to buy some seeds and noticed that he has a few new items in stock, different fruit saplings and cucumber seeds. I dumped all my money on the cucumber seeds as these can provide multiple harvests, and that's always super handy. I made sure to talk with every single person that I came across, like Sophia, who owns the Blue Moon Vineyard, and Andy from Fairhaven Farm. I picked up any forage that I saw on my way, planted the new seeds, and got my first level in foraging while clearing debris on the farm. After I ran out of energy, I was back in town to meet more people. I'd like to talk about each and every single person, but with all the mods, I have almost 70 villagers. That's a lot of people. So I'll go into more detail whenever I get a cutscene with someone. I had a peek inside the Joja Mart where I said hello to Morris, who has his own cutscenes and friendship meter in Stardew Expanded. Also, I completely forgot that in the expanded mods, the seed at Joja Mart are always cheaper, even without the membership, which is something I'll definitely remember and not immediately forget about. Day number 2, I met Martin, one of the 2 new Joja employees, went down to the beach where I stumbled upon Willy, who just came back from a month-long fishing trip. He finally made enough money to afford a new rod and gifted me his old one since he won't be using it anymore. Thanks Willy, appreciated. Fishing is by far the best activity early on in spring, so that's exactly what I did. And let's all appreciate the visible fish mod and dynamic reflections. I was busy at the beach until I reached fishing level 1, had a small heart attack when I saw Elliot. What have they done to you? Yeah, not a fan of his new portrait. I dropped all of the fish at home and continued with fishing in town until I reached level 2. Also got the Fisherman achievement. Wednesday was the first rainy day. I planted any leftover mixed seeds. Also Hat Mouse is already here, thanks to the achievement I got yesterday. This time I was fishing at the mountain lake. Wasn't here for too long as my inventory filled up rather quickly. I accepted a request from Robin where she wants me to collect 20 pieces of wood, which I did right away. Brought everything over to her and got some easy money for that. Back to fishing where I found a tadpole and a bit later the adult form, a frog. I wanted to keep them because I think these are love gifts for Sebastian, but I need the money more than friendship points at the moment. And we reached level 3 in fishing. Day number 4 I was enjoying the puddles on my farm. I love playing modded. I had enough money to treat myself and purchase the backpack upgrade from Pierre's. It was time to explore Ridgeside Village, so I went up the cable car and in town got greeted by Lenny, who gave me a tour. Ridgeside Village is an expansion mod that adds new forage, fish, quests, events, and of course new NPCs. And I gotta say, out of all the expansion mods that I've played, this is my favorite one. It is so well done, and it kind of reminds me of my home. Anyways, some key locations around town are the Log Cabin Hotel, Town Square, and Pika's, where I can buy tons of new recipes. I thanked her for the tour and I was off to meeting more townies. Richard, who owns the hotel, Isabel, his granddaughter, and I love her new portrait, she looks so cute. She also works at the hotel. Paula, a former armor medic, and Faye, aspiring designer. She makes and sells her own clothes, which I'm very excited to check out later. While exploring around town, I came across a mysterious man. This is Gio, who was very surprised that I was able to see his ears. I mean, yeah, you're not wearing your beanie and I'm not blind. We had very awkward small talk and then he just disappeared. He's a very important character that I'll talk about later. Much later. Ridgeside has a smaller forest area to the south of town where I can find tons of new forage every season. Most of these are loved items for quite a few people, so I'll be sure to come here frequently. I dropped off everything back at home, then went to the Cinesep forest to look for even more forage. Stopped by Hatmouse and she has her very own portrait. So adorable. In the expanded mod, the Cinesep forest has a whole new area and it's absolutely massive. Again, lots of forage, but I was mainly here for the free forest sword you can find, which I'll need tomorrow. Friday morning I had Marnie waiting for me outside and she had a puppy with her. Obviously I'm taking her in, and Emma it is. Aren't you just the most adorable thing ever? I had my first parsnip harvest, and that bumped me up to farming level 1. In town I got the community center cutscene with Lewis, I don't think I need to show this, had a look at the weird golden tablet inside, spent all my money on seeds at Piers, and after planting some of them I was off to the mountain lake because the boulder got finally removed, which means I have access to the mines now. Inside I had a chat with Marlon, who warned me about the dangers that lurk beneath, and gave me a rusty old sword to defend myself. That's really nice and all, but I already have a way better weapon. Same as Morris, Marlon is a fully fledged out NPC and he's pretty important as well, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. So down I went. Not really much to say about this trip. I found my first geode and made it to floor 10 without any issues. I said goodnight to Emma and reached level 1 in mining. Since I found some ores yesterday, I had Clint visiting me and he gave me a blueprint for a furnace. I don't know how he knows that I was in the mines, but thanks I guess. Got a letter from the local wizard who wants to discuss the rat problem in the community center. Crafted my first scarecrow and furnace. After that I made my way over to the wizard tower, where I got acquainted with Rasmodius. I believe he is actually a romance option in Expanded, but I'm not sure about that. He showed me a tiny rat. I told him about the strange tablet I found in the community center, drank a weird potion, and voila! I can now understand the language of the Junimos. Thanks, man. In town I went to the museum for the first time to donate all the artifacts that I found yesterday, also to say hello to Gunther. I headed over to the community center again to look at the bundles, and it looks a bit different than in the vanilla version. This is the surprise I was talking about. I have a mod installed that makes the bundles a bit more challenging, and I'm already regretting my choices. It was a neutral luck day, but I still wanted to try and make some progress in the mines, and I'm so glad I came here as I found a small magnet ring in a crate. Almost didn't see it because it was so dark. I had an infested floor shortly after, which is always incredibly fun, and somehow made it to floor 20. Next morning I finished a request for Evelyn, dropped off any spring forage that I had at the community center. Now I just need to wait for salmon berries to spawn, parsnip for Louis' birthday, spend some time fishing by the beach. Also I gave Elliot his vanilla portrait back. You look perfect as you are, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I sold most of the fish to Willy directly until I had enough gold for the new fiberglass rod, and the rest went into bait. After that I took the cable car up to Ridgeside where I saw a Junimo that shooed me away. Rude guy? I was mainly here for forage, but also to meet more people as I am still missing a few. Like Irene, who works for the Amethyst family, Torts, a very grumpy turtle, and Freddy, who lives in this tiny purple house with his wife, Lola. That is still not everyone, but I was too lazy to look for more people, so I headed back home and went to bed. Day number 8 was a good luck day, so it was time to go to the mines again. I leveled up my combat skill and surprisingly already completed my first Monster Slayer goal, which was for cave insects. I got a decent amount of copper ore from my trip and made it to level 30 without any trouble. After tending to my crops on day 9, I found a golden carrot seed right outside my farm. That's definitely new. I finished a request for George, which landed me my very first prize ticket. I immediately headed over to Louis, where I got the intro cutscene for the ticket machine. If you don't know, this came with the 1.6 update and is not a mod. Every third request that I do earns me 1 prize ticket, which I can turn in here for random rewards. And this time I got 12 carrot seeds. Back at the farm I had Willy waiting for me. He informed me about Shearwater Bridge and that there are special types of fish that I can catch over there. Good thing that he came, because honestly I kinda forgot about this area. I made my way to Ridgeside to give Anton a birthday present, learned that they have their own request board here as well, which is nice, and to do some fishing. I caught a red-belly dace, cutthroat trout, mountain whitefish, and Ridgeside bass. In the evening I crafted another chest, organized everything, and went to bed where I reached level 5 in fishing. And of course I took the fisher profession for that extra cash. Wednesday morning I saw Morris in town just waving Joja flowers around. Whether you like this guy or not, you can't deny the fact that he sure takes his job serious. By now I had enough money accumulated to afford my first tool upgrade, which was for the pickaxe. What I love about the UI info suit, it even tells you when Clint is done with the upgrade. Very nice. Dropped off any new artifacts and minerals at the museum, Vincent got a daffodil for his birthday, and then I remembered that I wanted to check out Shearwater Bridge, which is located right next to the blacksmith. As Willie mentioned, there's new types of fish that I can catch, and I tried for a little bit, but yeah, that wasn't happening. I'll come back a bit later. While walking back, I came across an old rundown garden space, and I wonder if I get to use this later on. I gave Elliot a clam since I know that he likes beach forageables, and in return he gifted me a mountain whitefish. This is thanks to the reciprocate mod, however you pronounce it, where NPCs have a chance to gift you something back. While cleaning up later in the evening, I suddenly remembered that I have working minecarts around the farm, because the plot is so incredibly huge. Also, I can pick up seasonal forage on the immersive farm, which is very nice. Day 11 I got a letter from Gunther, who thanked me for the donations I brought him yesterday. This is part of the Museum Pays mod, where I get a small amount of money every 10th donation. Got my first kale and carrot harvest, planted those gold carrot seeds, and more cauliflowers. I gave Isabel a gold quality mountain arugula for her birthday, and finally met the last few people. Maddie, who works at the lab in Ridgeside, Aria, one of the two Emethin children, and Corinne, who works part-time at Pikas. Only took 11 days to meet everyone. Not looking forward to befriending all of them, but that's a problem for another day. Back at home I stopped by Fairhaven Farm, where I had a chat with Andy. So Andy is part of Stardew Expanded, which is by far the most popular mod for StardewValley, for a good reason. This mod got a huge update not too long ago, and I haven't read any of the patch notes, so I'm super excited to see what's new. Anyways, he talked about how he only uses Joja fertilizer for his crops, which supposedly makes them healthier. I mean, I'm not judging, whatever suits you, buddy. But more importantly, he said he has a welcome gift for me, being strawberry seeds. Yes please, never gonna say no to free stuff. He will send them to me once he has some time, which was the very next day. There it is, 3 strawberry seeds just like that, which I planted right away. The copper pick was done, met the cutest boy Dusty, Alex dog. I love his design, he looks so adorable. The bookseller was in town for the first time, not that I can afford anything right now, but I was curious if he had anything new in stock, but it doesn't seem like it. When I visited Andy yesterday, I made sure to grab Robin's lost axe, which I returned to her for some easy money. Initially I had planned to go into the mines, but it was a bad luck day, so I thought it was best to just do more foraging in Ridgeside. And I almost forgot to check the traveling merchant. I do this pretty much every Friday and Sunday, so I won't be mentioning this unless I buy something from her. Also made it to level 4 in foraging. On Saturday I got my first cucumber and cauliflower harvest. I prepped the field for future seeds, then it was time for the egg festival. I immediately noticed that Shane had a new outfit, and it's perfect. In fact, there was quite a few of the townies who had special outfits, and I loved that. I bought 20 strawberry seeds from the stall. Yes, I could have bought more, but then I would also need to water them every day, and I didn't feel like losing my sanity just yet. I was a bit nervous about the egg hunt because I know that the egg layout is a bit different in Expanded, and also there's more people participating. With the last seconds ticking down, I managed to collect 9 eggs in total. And somehow that was enough. I won. Give me that straw hat, Lewis. Unfortunately, the hat somehow makes my hair 10 times shorter, which is not okay. I do not like having short hair, so I'll need to look into that soon. For now I planted all the strawberry seeds and headed to bed, where I reached level 2 in farming. Day 14 I purchased a tea sapling from the traveling cart. Very expensive, but I need that for the community center, and right now I don't really have any time to befriend Caroline. Waited for Haley to come out of her damn room so I can give her a birthday present, and in return I received some Highland ice cream, which I'll need very soon. On my way to the mines I found a new artifact, a faded button, and spent most of my day trying to make some progress in the mines. I was struggling a lot. I hate these star levels so much. Thanks to the ice cream that I got from Haley earlier, I had just enough energy to reach level 40. After that I wanted to sell the loot that I found to the guild, where I got a cutscene with Marlon. He asked me if I wanted to join the adventure guild, and of course I said yes. I mean, you don't really get a choice here anyways, you kinda have to join. That's when I remembered that I unlocked a new weapon a while back, the insect head. It's actually better than the forest sword, so I'll be using this from now on. It is the first day of salmonberry season, meaning that I finally have everything to finish the first bundle in the community center. This rewarded me with 50 spring seeds instead of the usual 30. Also now I have access to the pantry and fish tank, where I saw that the pantry even has a garden bundle. Good thing I bought some flower seeds before. After that I opened some geodes at Clint's and commissioned a copper axe. Then visited Sophia, where she gave me a free sprinkler as a welcome gift. It's a quality one too. Thank you very much. I ventured into the Cinnasap forest to look for more berries, where I stumbled upon Andy, who was hanging around Aurora Vineyard. It looks pretty run down, both inside and outside, and it makes me wonder if I get to use this place later on. Morning of day 16 was spent looking for more salmon berries. Midday I went back to Shearwater Bridge to try and catch any new fish. I wasn't having any luck. In fact, I had quite the bad day of fishing. I thought I would have an easier time at the beach, but nope. At least I got to level 6 in fishing before heading back home. Wednesday was raining again. You know what that means? More fishing. But first I was tending to my crop field. The golden carrot was done growing and it sells for a whopping 1000 gold. I have no idea if I need this for something else later, so I'm gonna hold on to it for now. I finished a request for Robin, which earned me a second prize ticket, and on my way to the blacksmith, I saw Penny with an umbrella. Have I mentioned how much I love playing modded? Picked up my shiny new axe, opened more geodes, which gave me more donations for the museum. From the prize ticket machine I got a free peach sapling, which I planted right away on the farm. Bought 1 trout soup from Willy, and then I was busy with fishing in town. I need to get my hands on a few catfish, and I caught one shortly after. I've been getting pretty unlucky with treasure chests so far. Almost all of them only have coal inside, which is not bad, but it's not exactly great either. Later by the beach I managed to catch a halibut and eel. The eel was dropped off at the community center, and after going to bed I saw Mr. G flying around the valley, which means that I can find mystery boxes from now on. On day 18 I was feeling a bit lonely on the farm. Sure, I have Emma, but I need something more tiny and fluffy. So I headed over to Robin's, where I commissioned a coop. I made a quick detour into the mines. I wasn't here for too long, as I only wanted to finish a request for the wizard. For slaying 20 dust sprites I got over 1000 gold. Easy money. Pam got a birthday beer at the saloon, where she gave me a poppy in return. This is actually huge, as I need quite a few of these for the bundles. The evening was spent on the farm, cleaning up more debris and chopping down trees. I reached level 3 in farming that day, which unlocked the butter churner. No idea what this is. Friday was not that eventful. I wanted to do more fishing as it was raining, but it was a very good luck day, so naturally I was off to the mines, where I spent most of the day. I found my very first coffee bean and mystery box, more wood chopping on the farm, which pushed me to level 5 in foraging, and I took the gatherer profession for a chance to get double forage. The first strawberries were ready on day 20, got a cutscene with Isabel while visiting the log cabin hotel. She asked if I could stay a little while and keep her company until she gets off work. I had a pleasant conversation with her until she mentioned that I am, and I quote, too kind. Way to ruin a nice conversation with someone. I was actually here to talk to her grandfather, Richard, to turn in a request he posted a while ago. It seems like the requests that get posted here on the notice board don't expire, which I'm not sure is intentional or a bug. Either way, thanks for the 1000 gold. I had enough wood by now to repair the broken bridge down by the beach, and this was so worth it, as I got a lot of extra forage that day. I managed to catch a starfish while I was here, and finally had a good treasure chest, with 2 iridium ore inside. Before heading back home I made sure to give Shane a birthday present, and got an emerald in return. Day 21, Robin was done with the coop construction, so I headed straight over to Marnie's, where I got a cutscene with Shane, who passed out in his room. Don't worry, he's fine. I sprinkled some water on his head. There you go. Anyways, I bought 4 chickens. Everyone say hello to Bobby, Kiwi, Chico, and Poncho. Today I had everything ready for the spring crop bundle. The cauliflowers, potatoes, strawberries, and beans. Now I have access to the boiler room. This is usually the easiest and fastest one to finish, but yeah, not this time. They even want an iridium bar for the blacksmith bundle, so yeah, this is gonna take some time. I purchased 2 flooring recipes from Robin, then started to lay out a tree farm area, which took up the remaining day. 22, I had Demetrius at my front door. Long story short, he wants to set up the cave that I have on the farm and turn it into something useful. Now, I know that there's new fruit saplings with all the mods that I have, so the fruit bed cave seemed like an obvious choice. While running around, I noticed that the paths don't really match the current color palette that I have, so I'll need to look into a mod for that soon. I made my way over to Ridgeside village where I stumbled upon Lenny. She had a little project for me in mind. There are multiple old minecarts scattered around the village which haven't been used for a very long time. If I gather enough materials, we can restore them once more and I would also be able to use them. It's actually not as many materials as I thought it would be, but it's still gonna take a bit of time until I have everything. I did my usual foraging run while in the area and then went back to the farm to clean up the animal area a bit more. Day 23 started with appreciating the new path mod that I downloaded. This looks much better. Remembered that I can make fertilizer for the crops, found the entrance to the fruit bat cave, and there's even another area attached to it, with some random geodes and minerals laying around. I have no memory of that. I didn't really know what else to do, so I decided to head to the mines. Not much to report. I did find another dwarf scroll, which is pretty lucky. Later I came across Shane in the Cinesep forest, where we shared a cold beer together. I don't really like beer, but I didn't want it to be rude either, so I just chucked everything down in one go. I was actually here to visit Andy, as it was his birthday, and luckily he was still up when I reached his house. I leveled up my foraging skill again and can craft lightning rods now, which I should really do before summer. Day 24, the chickens have all grown up, which means I'll get daily eggs from now on. I cleaned up the farm a bit more and then made my way into the Cinesep forest to participate in the annual flower dance. And I just have to mention again, I love the festival outfits. It's such a nice detail. Even Linus is all dressed up. I made sure to chat with everyone, and thankfully I had enough friendship points to ask Shane if he wants to be my dance partner. Usually I never participate in the dance in year 1, so that's a first. This is always super awkward to watch, as I record without any music on, since I edit that in myself. But hey, I reached farming level 5 that day, and I took the utility profession. The next morning I had Lewis waiting for me outside, who said he was checking my shipping bin? Who starts a conversation like that? I just woke up, man.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
I couldn't tell you what this cutscene was about. He then started talking about checking Andy's shipping bin. I guess this is just supposed to be small talk. Anyways, I crafted 2 mayo machines, commissioned a steel pick from Clint, donated the stuff I found yesterday in the mines, and already got all 4 dwarf scrolls, meaning that I have access to the Dwarfish translation guide. Definitely the earliest I've ever gotten this. I'm always extremely unlucky with those scrolls. I remember in the vanilla 100 days video, that was like one of the last items I donated. So I was ecstatic about this. While in town I accepted a request for the wizard, which was the exact same one as last time, to slay 20 dust sprites, and since I could really use the money and the prize ticket, I tended to that right away. This took a lot longer than I thought it would, but at least I managed to find my first summer squash seeds while down there, so that's nice. I turned in the request later in the evening, and for the prize ticket I got 10 mixed seeds, which I'm gonna save for summer. On Friday I accepted yet another request. This time it was for Emily, and I'm not gonna mention these anymore as I do these almost every day. Pierre got a fresh egg for his big day, not like he deserves it, but I have no choice as I need to befriend everyone. And yes, this is going to be a perfection run in case I haven't mentioned it. At least that's the end goal. I really didn't do that much today. I mostly just ran around looking for forage, both in the valley and Ridgeside. When I came back to the farm later, I was surprised to see Lorenzo. He owns a small store in Ridgeside together with his wife, Shanice. He actually knew my grandma and grandpa and visited the farm a few times when he was younger. He told me that my grandfather helped them out quite a lot when they moved to the valley, and he's here to repay his kindness. He gave me some speed grow, spaghetti, 1,000 gold, and an old foxtail charm. The charm used to belong to my grandmother and is a special item that will help us later. Saturday morning I received a few cooking recipes in the mail, but also a letter from Lewis where I got 500 gold for being this month's best neighbor. Is this new or one of the mods? No idea, but thanks for the free cash. I headed over to Clint's where I picked up the new pick and commissioned a steel axe right away. Dropped off a few items for the boiler room. With the new pickaxe I can already destroy the rocks near the mine entrance, and it feels really nice to speak with the dwarf this early on in the game. I purchased the weathered floor recipe from him and then spent a few in-game hours in the mines, where after a little while made it to floor 70. Thanks to the grinding I did that day, I was able to craft a glow ring, and finally I can actually see what I'm doing during nighttime. That took way too long. It is the final day of spring. I collected any remaining crops and forage on the field, went to Ridgeside village for a few birthdays, Sonny and Bert, commissioned a silo from Robin, and while there bought a few more flooring recipes. I crafted a few of each to try and figure out which one I liked the best, and I decided on the weathered variant, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave it like that. Also I have a mod installed that lets me walk faster on paths and floorings. I found 2 new fruits in the Bat Cave, Nectarine and Persimmon? Is that how you say it? With the remaining energy I had, I was once again just cleaning up the farm. I made it over to Grandpa's shed, which is all the way to the east side of the farm, and had a first look inside. Not much I can do here right now, so I left and headed to bed. On this beautiful first summer day, I had Robin outside my door. She was here to take a look at the old shed. Together we headed over to inspect the building. She let me know that she could actually refurbish the building if she had the right materials, and that I should visit her at the carpenter so we can discuss everything more thoroughly. After that I was appreciating my little frog on the mailbox. I love how it has a different look in summer. While looking at the seeds to plant, I remembered the coffee bean that I got a while ago from the mines. Why didn't I plant it right away? I was under the impression that they only grow during summer. In fact, they grow both during summer and spring. Have I mentioned that I have over 700 hours in this game? Still a noob sometimes. As I walked out of the farm, I got halted by Pika and his son Kehahi? I'm definitely mispronouncing that. Who were on their way down to the beach to pick up Kehi's mom. I tagged along with them, where I saw there was already a rainbow shell on the beach. Definitely have to pick this up after. Leilani was gone for the past 3 seasons due to her work at the University of Ember Island. I introduced myself and then I was on my merry way. Over at Pierre's, I bought a few of each of the summer seeds, prepped the field with already future quality sprinkler spots in mind. I planted that coffee bean and the new butternut squash seeds. They take a very long time to grow, so I used some of my precious speed grow on them. I crafted 2 lightning rods for the upcoming summer storms, then sprinted down to the beach where I in fact did not see the rainbow shell, which is very unfortunate, but not much I can do about it. Tuesday morning I picked up the steel axe from Clint, donated a few more items to the museum, spent some time fishing at the beach where I managed to catch a pufferfish and at the same time reached level 7 in fishing. You'll love to see it. Shortly after there was a pufferfish frenzy right next to Willie's shop where I managed to catch quite a few of them, which is great since they sell for a nice chunk of money. At the mountain lake I got my hands on a sturgeon, and on my way back to the farm I dug up my first book, Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick. +1 defense is nothing crazy, but it's still a good find. Day 31 I had a new face outside my house, Susan. She owns Emerald Farm next to the railroad track and has been trapped up there for several weeks due to the rock slide that was caused by Georgia, and they just couldn't be bothered to clean up the mess up until yesterday. That's kinda awful, but she's here now, so that's cool. It was a good luck day, but before heading to the mines, I gave Penny a leftover artifact that I had on me, and I love her summer outfit. She looks adorable. While spelunking, I made sure to kill every skeleton that I came across in hopes of getting a bone sword, or whatever the name is, but I had no luck with that. And I got reminded that I should really buy a bag upgrade tomorrow. In the evening I was chopping trees on the farm, where I obtained Woody's Secret. I reached level 5 in mining, and I took the miner profession to get more ore. Thursday I wanted to give Jazz a birthday present, but got impatient, so I left. Still no rainbow shell on the beach. In town I overheard Morris and Louis talking about the landslide event, that Susan wasn't even informed about the operation, and that Joja is dumping trash in the local river. But Morris didn't even let him finish his sentence and just responded with, "Yeah, but we're not doing anything illegal here. Okay, dude?" Louis left shortly after, and Morris turned to me and said, "Joja is paving the way to greatness." Very cult-like, my guy. Relax. I am already looking forward to a modded Joja run. Jazz finally came out of her room, so I gave her the flower, brought the bag upgrade from Pierre's. On my way back I saw 2 lost souls near the bus stop, Malaya and her husband, Kimpoi. Okay, so this is like a 10-minute long cutscene, so I'm gonna try my best to make it short. So Kimpoi and Malaya just came back from an almost 10-year-long trip, and since it's been so long they had trouble finding their way to the cable car. I showed them the way, when all of a sudden Olga, which is also Kimpoi's sister, came out of the cable car with her husband, Bert. Apparently Malaya and Kimpoi didn't inform anyone about their return, so Olga was a bit confused at first. Turns out that Kimpoi and Malaya have a daughter, which is Alyssa, which has been living with Olga and Bert all these years. And now the parents don't really know how to approach their daughter anymore. But they didn't really have a choice anyways, as Alyssa just kinda ran into them. She was very happy to see them again, and now they can live together once more. I had to mention this because the cutscene is important for the story later and also for Alyssa's heart events. It hasn't been explained why her parents were gone for almost a full decade, and I also don't know, so no spoilers, or I will be angry. I spent most of the day in Ridgeside to look for new summer forage and new fish, like this fixer eel and a sculpin fish. Once again I was chopping down trees later that night, where I got another woody secret. Day 33, an ominous green rain poured down on the valley, and I cannot get over how much I love my mailbox mod. Look at him, he turned into a little snail guy. The tree farm is coming along nicely. I really need to craft some tappers for them soon. Most of the day was spent in the Cindersap forest to collect moss, fiber and fiddlehead fern. There was also a new type of fish in the pond that I haven't seen before, though I had no luck catching it. Later I stopped by Hatmouth's shop, where I treated myself and purchased the lucky bow. And as you can see, it comes with +1 luck while wearing it. This is thanks to the Skillful Clothes revamp mod, and at last I have my long hair back. Feels good. Since I have an upgraded axe and pick, I was able to grab the alleyway buffet while in town, which increases the chance of finding items in trash cans. The following morning I had Kimpoi waiting for me outside. He let me know that Nightingale Orchard is now open again, where I can buy new types of fruit trees. The first hot peppers were ready to harvest, which pushed me to farming level 6. I donated 2 new items to the museum, which earned me the Treasure Trove achievement and got my first rare crow as a reward. I was delighted to see a rainbow shell at the beach, headed straight over to the community center and finished the summer foraging bundle. That's why I needed the rainbow shell, by the way. This unlocked the bulletin board, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was very afraid to take a look, rightfully so. The chef's bundle now wants caviar and a coconut. The home cook I think is from the remix bundles, but I'm not sure. Fodder is the same, but with additional carrots and amaranth. Same with the dye bundle plus the squid ink. Field research is the easiest one, thank god. Children bundle is cooked items as well, and lastly we have the enchanter bundle, and it's a nightmare. Sweet gemberry and an ancient fruit. On top of that, I also need to find the Book of Stars somehow. This is gonna take some time for sure. But that's a problem for another day. I got my hands on another prize ticket for finishing a request for Elliot. This gave me 3 mystery boxes, and I was disappointed to see 4 quality sprinklers instead of the preserve jars that were there in the spot last time. Oh well. Speaking about sprinklers, since I'll be finally unlocking quality sprinklers by tomorrow, I went to gather gold ore in the mines. In the evening I placed down the scarecrow, and that reminded me that I have a scarecrow mod installed. Much better. Sunday I got some free melon seeds from Susan in the mail, thank you very much. I headed over to the carpenter, where I got a cutscene with Robin. This was about the shed repairs, and she gave me a list for the necessary materials. I know this is gonna take a ton of wood and iron bars, so I'll focus on that a bit later. I was here to commission my first barn, which got placed right next to the coop. I spent most of the day on the farm, just waiting for the ores to smelt so that I can craft those sprinklers. I made 2 mayor machines, chopped down some trees, and I kid you not, I got another woody secret. Hey, I'll take the free foraging XP. By the end of the day, I managed to make 9 quality sprinklers. I think that's a pretty good start, and if you're wondering why I haven't made any of the regular sprinklers, I don't think they're worth the materials, so I usually just wait for the quality ones. Day 36, I harvested my first coffee beans and poppy flowers. In town I stumbled upon Demetrius, where he explained the history of StardewValley to me. I really enjoyed that they gave him a good cutscene and expanded. He has such terrible ones in the vanilla version. I dropped off a few items at the community center, unlocking the final room, being the vault. Thankfully this one is unchanged. It's the same amount of money as always. I opened some geodes at the blacksmith and got incredibly lucky with some iridium ore. Since I crafted so many sprinklers yesterday, I had almost no ore left, so the remaining time was spent in the mines. I found very little ore nodes down there since it was a bad luck day, but when I came back home I saw that I somehow managed to get an ancient seed. Needless to say, I was super happy about that find. Made the first few tappers for the tree farm, and immediately went to Gunter the following day for the actual seed, which I planted right away with some deluxe speed growth fertilizer on top. Olga got a strawberry for her birthday, did the usual foraging route while in Ridgeside. I chopped down this big wooden log, which opened up a new area. Gio was waiting for me on the other side, where he warned me about the dangers in the forest. He mentioned that this place holds many secrets, and if I share anything I find here with him, he will grant me valuable items and spiritual essence in return. Now, I remember from my last modded run that this area is tough. There are a lot of new monsters here, and I am nowhere near prepared for this, so I'll come back once I have better gear. And speaking about tough monsters, I wanted to make some progress down in the mines again, but on floor 89, I got overwhelmed by a wave of bats and passed out. Thankfully, Robin managed to drag me out of there. I didn't lose anything too valuable, just a bit of gold and a few random items, so it's not the end of the world. Day 38, the butternut squash were done growing and they sell for a hefty amount of gold. Robin finished the barn construction that day, so I headed over to Marnie's where I bought 4 cows. Margit, Moke, Margot, and Macaw. I gave Maru a golden strawberry for a big day and got a sandfish in return, one step closer to finishing the fish tank. Today I had more luck in the mines. On floor 90 I got the obsidian edge from the chest, a much needed weapon upgrade. On an infested floor one of the slimes dropped the monster companion and successfully made it to floor 100 where I found my very first star drop. Was about time really. I reached level 6 in mining and level 5 in combat where I took the fighter profession. On Thursday was the annual Luau festival. I made sure to talk with everyone for the easy friendship points, and as per usual I brought a gold quality cauliflower for the potluck soup, earning me the unforgettable soup achievement. The next day I received an interesting letter from Robin where she mentioned that they found an extra room in the farm cave. I have to remember to check that out soon. At this point I was really struggling with chest space. There are so many new items with all the mods I have installed, and I need more space ASAP. So I was off to the carpenter where I bought the big chest recipe. Very expensive, but also worth it. I also stopped by the community center where I finished the blacksmith, adventurer and treasure hunter bundle. Now I'm only missing the battery and refined quartz for the engineer bundle. I had a whole lot of cutscenes happening that day, so I'm gonna make it snappy. First I helped Ian with his deliveries. He lives in Ridgeside and works at odd jobs together with John. He's also a potential future husband. I overheard Alyssa practicing her singing voice, but she got embarrassed and ran off. I went on a little walk with Maeve, the matriarch of the wealthy Amethyst family. Like everyone else here, she knew my grandpa and was even interested in buying Moonlight Farm. Don't you already have enough expensive things? And that she has very high expectations of me. Okay, Mom. And lastly, I had lunch at Pika's. I was allowed to test out a new dish he just made, and it was delicious. Back at the farm, I made the first 3 big chests and was busy with reorganizing everything. I also made sure to craft more lightning rods as it's gonna storm tomorrow, and laid out a few stone paths around the house. On 41, I reached farming level 7 while picking up my melon harvest. I had a look inside the farm cave, where there was indeed a second room now, with a Junimo hut inside and a few rocks to mine. I found a buttload of forage down by the beach, and with that managed to finish the crab pot bundle. I completely forgot that I wanted to buy more seeds that day, and luckily the Georgia Mart was still open, where I bought more melon and butternut seeds. I should really come here more often because buying seeds in large quantities makes a huge difference since, as I said before, you get them cheaper here. Purchased a rare seed from the traveling cart the next day and visited the secret woods for the first time. This area looks a bit different now and is also a lot bigger, with more hardwood stumps and brand new forage to find. I caught a wood skip from the pond, saw that there's a path that leads straight to my farm as well, but I cannot be bothered to clean this up, so I left. At the town river I caught a rainbow trout and shortly after finished both the lake fish and engineer's bundle. With that, completed my first room in the community center. Before going back home, I made sure to grab all the forage from the beach when I noticed that there was a boat at the docks. Upon interacting with it, I got transported to an area called Rampleton Fields. Never seen this before. This area is massive, like almost the size of Pelican Town. There was also a magical house, which looks very similar to the Wizard's Tower. The note reads, "By appointment only, Atlantis V." So I guess I'll come back later. After going to bed, I saw the Junimos hard at work repairing the minecarts around town. Day 43 was spent in the mines, all day. And on 44, I did the exact same thing. I found so many diamond nodes on my trip and finally made it to floor 120, where I got the skull key. Also, I made my first cheese press since the cows are all grown up by now. And in the evening I got another prize ticket for doing a request for Olivia, which I traded in for 1 star drop tea. While checking up on my animals the next day, I noticed that the cheese somehow made its way from the machine to the chest. That's when I realized that I indeed have the Automate mod installed. And boy do I wish this was in vanilla Stardew as well. Sam got some Highland ice cream for his birthday, then visited the blacksmith where I got a new cutscene with Clint. I think it's new at least. He told me that he gets nervous and awkward around people and hopes that I will still visit him in the future, even if it's just for upgrading my tools. Yeah, about that. Thanks for the gold pick upgrade. I'll come back with a gift next time. I finally had enough clay accumulated to finish the construction bundle and also the exotic forage bundle. The rest of the day was spent on the farm, chopping trees. Day 46, I added 3 more sprinklers to the crop layout, then had another cutscene with Clint, this time by the railroad track. In the expanded mod, the summit is technically available right from the start, but I need to remove this boulder first. Clint said he needs a very strong explosive for that, and I should visit him at his shop to discuss further details. I was actually up here because I wanted to commission a coop upgrade from Robin, but she wasn't at home, so that's cool. So instead I was busy with doing random requests, since by now I had so many quests piling up in my journal and it's easy money and friendship points. The next morning I had everything ready for the summer crops bundle, which gave me 3 quality sprinklers as a reward. Demetrius got a strawberry for his birthday, and while there, commissioned that coop upgrade. At the traveling cart I bought another rare seed. I'll need quite a few of these for different tasks. Then I wasted half of my money buying melon seeds and speed grow fertilizer because I didn't realize it was already too late, meaning they don't have enough time to fully mature anymore this season, even with the speed grow. So that's great, just love wasting money. On day 48 I went over to the wizard tower where I wanted to give Rasmodius a gift, but I couldn't find him. I went looking down in the basement where I snooped around in his old books when he suddenly teleported right next to me. At first he was a bit annoyed that I went down here unannounced, but quickly changed his mind and said if I really want to learn more about arcane knowledge, he'd be happy to teach me some light magic in the future. It was the annual trout derby that day, so you know what that means. Cue the fishing montage. I love her Carmen and her daughter Blair are also attending the festival. I gifted her a shad, since that's one of her love gifts, and in return she gave me a freaking octopus. I was incredibly happy about that, since I need one of those for the fish tank. And the octopus is one of the hardest fish to catch, so I was happy I don't have to worry about that now. I stayed until 6 in the evening, where I traded my 4 golden tags for a tent kit, crab pot, mystery box, and a diamond. Before going to bed, I crafted a bait maker and put in all the rainbow trouts that I caught. The following day I visited the blacksmith to pick up my new pickaxe, and while there, Clint told me about the materials that he'll need to remove the boulder that is blocking the summit entrance. Lots of iridium ore, so that'll have to wait until I reach the skull cavern. I came with a gift for him as promised and commissioned a gold axe. Then I was back to fishing. I wish I made the bait maker before I went to the festival yesterday, because this is so much easier. But my happiness got crushed very soon once Willy arrived because he shamelessly destroyed my machine. He quite literally just walked over it. Why is that even a thing? I was considering restarting the day, but it's fine. I have more than enough rainbow trout for the remaining event, but I have to remember to craft another bait maker for the Squid Fest during winter. Anyways, I fished until I had exactly 7 golden tags, since the prices don't seem to be any different from the vanilla version. And there's 10 different items you can trade in at the festival booth. The rewards you get from the trout derby are nothing too crazy, but I did get this really cool mounted trout and a bucket head, which I gave to Emma. Perfect. Back on the farm I crafted a worm bin, which was immediately turned into a deluxe worm bin. Inside the bat cave I caught a stonefish and reached level 8 in farming, finally unlocking the keg crafting recipe. Monday morning I finished the speciality bundle by donating that stonefish and super cucumber. And would you look at that, the reward was a bait maker. Very nice. The dwarf got a topaz for his birthday and then spent the entire day down in the mines looking for copper and iron. And on floor 61, one of the dust sprites dropped a prismatic shard. I didn't even realize it at first because the sprite looks so different. I'm saving that for the galaxy sword. 51 was Victor's birthday. He lives in a big mansion right next to Pierre's together with his mom, Olivia. They're rich and he likes bridges. That's all I know about him. I picked up the gold axe and commissioned a hoe upgrade. Then I was once again occupied in the mines. My luck continued that day, as not only did I get another monster companion, but also a second ancient seed, on the same floor even. I planted it shortly after, crafted my first 2 kegs, which I placed next to a chest, and dumped in all of the coffee beans and hops I've been hoarding so far. And once again, I am so glad I have the automate mod installed. Next day I already collected the first 6 cups of my very own homebrewed coffee, and I am zooming now. With my newfound speed, I rushed over to the wizard and gifted him some void essence. Next stop was Marnie's, where I purchased 4 ducks. Borealis, Bale, Agile, and Exix. I was very tempted to buy the iridium rod from Willie's shop, but I don't really need it right now, and I don't have any bobbers anyways, so instead I used that money to purchase the first 2 vault bundles, the one for 2,500 and the other for 5,000 gold. Yet again, I went down into the mines, but I wasn't here for too long as I just wanted to finish a request for slaying 1 squid kid. Found a special slime on floor 102. Sadly, he dropped a shadow dagger, which I definitely won't be using. For finishing the request, I got another prize ticket, which earned me a new bed. Super cozy. I added 5 more quality sprinklers to the field next day, commissioned a big barn upgrade from Robin, picked up the copper hoe, then went to Ridgeside for Mr. Aqua's birthday, where I came across a new face. Pipo and his friend Acorn. They're looking for a small girl here in the forest and asked if I saw someone like that. I have not, but Acorn said that the last he sensed her was during nighttime, 1 hour before midnight to be exact. Sure won't forget this immediately and not stumble upon her by pure accident much later. Definitely not. I stopped by the lab where I saw Maddie, who was rude as per usual. You know not everything is about you, right? I'm here for Mr. Aqua, not you. Dropped off the gift, and since I dumped all of my wood on the barn construction, I was busy gathering lumber for the remaining day. This pushed me to level 9 in foraging, and I have new totem recipes unlocked now. Day 54 I collected so-called birch water from the chest next to the tappers. No idea what to do with this yet. I bought an apple and tuna from the traveling merchant. Yes, I know I could have just easily caught the tuna myself, but I was too lazy at the moment. With the tuna I finished the ocean fish bundle, then I was back to gathering wood on the farm. I uncovered a new area to the left side of the map, which had lots of ore and bigger rocks. Probably gonna use this for fish ponds in the future. Saturday morning I crafted my first preserve jar. Just that one, because I am slowly running out of coal. Over at Marnie's I had the blue chicken cutscene with Shane, so they're available for purchase now, which is nice. I was here to buy 2 coats for the newly expanded barn, which I did, Ornstein and Smoke. Once again I am short on iron, so I was back in the mines, resetting floor 60 over and over. And that brings us to day 56, the final day of summer. I purchased a second apple from the traveling cart, corn and wheat seeds from the Joja Mart, so that I don't have that much stress tomorrow morning. Every playthrough I keep forgetting how incredibly long oak resin takes to produce, so it was clear to me that I need to work on a second tree farm ASAP. This time consisting only of oak trees. I made sure to put tree fertilizer on all of them and separated them with paths in between so that they can grow without any issues. Later in the evening it was time for everyone's favorite festival, the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies. Of course I made sure to talk with all of the townies for easy friendship points. This always takes forever, and finally we said hello to the jellies and enjoyed the show. On the first day of fall, I had Richard waiting for me outside. He let me know that the Log Cabin Hotel will offer musical entertainment throughout fall and winter. The resident pianist just arrived today, which means I have a new person to meet. But first, I had work to do. I prepped the field, went to the Joja Mart, where I bought a whole bunch of new seeds, a little bit of everything. As you'd expect, planting all of those took up the majority of the day, but I still had enough time left later in the evening to give Lorenzo a birthday present and to meet June, the pianist Richard was talking about. And I'm gonna say it right away, he is up on the list together with Ian to be a potential future husband. On day 58, I picked up my first ancient fruit, crafted 3 more cakes. When I walked into town, I got the cutscene with Mia Lewis and Robin for the special order board, and accepted the Curious Substance quest from the wizard. While there, I caught a tiger trout, and with that completed the riverfish bundle. Then I was busy in the mines. I didn't have any luck with finding the ectoplasm that day, yet somehow I managed to get 2 glow rings in a span of like 4 minutes. Wednesday morning I gave Richard some clementine juice for his birthday. By now I had all the necessary materials for the Ridgeside minecart system, so I dropped those off and went looking for new forage. While doing that, I stumbled upon the traveling cart, located in the Ridge Forest. Is she always here on Wednesdays? I hope not, because that would be really problematic, since this is like the only time I came here during a Wednesday, and also it doesn't show up on the UI info suite. I already managed to find all of the fall forage for the community center, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, then went once again searching for that ectoplasm, and actually found it after a few hours of looking. I handed it to the wizard shortly after and went back to the mountain lake where I caught a bull trout, walleye and midnight carp. I reached level 9 in farming and fishing that day. Got the crafting recipe for the mini obelisk from the wizard the following day, made another 4 kegs, went over to Ridgeside village where I saw Robin, Clint and Ian repairing the mine system, and right after that had another cutscene where I saw Lenny installing the Ridgeside special order board. Same as in Pelican Town, I can accept weekly tasks from here, though the one from Ridgeside usually have a much bigger time frame, so that's nice. The first request I accepted was from Pika, where he wants me to deliver 5 dishes to 5 different people. Since I was already here, I made that my priority for today. First, a zesty tuna for Richard, a fruity plate for Olga, fried fish for Lorenzo, fried mountain greens for Maeve, and lastly the arugula roll for Ezekiel. Easy peasy. After that I was back to fishing at the mountain lake. I honestly don't remember why I came here, but I'm glad I did because I got a dinosaur egg from a treasure chest. After all those awful treasure chests I've gotten over the past 2 seasons, I finally had a good one. I caught 1 gold quality bass, which let me complete the quality fish bundle. Now I'm only missing the night fishing one, but that'll have to wait until winter. 61 I got my payment for helping Pika yesterday, picked up another prize ticket in town, which I traded in for those 4 quality sprinklers, commissioned a deluxe coop upgrade from Robin, bought more pumpkin seeds at Joja, visited Nightingale Orchard where I gave Kimpoi a birthday present and had a look at all the new fruit saplings available to me. A bit out of my price range at the moment, so I'll come back to those a bit later. Other than that, the day was pretty uneventful. And day 62 was also not that special. I had my first eggplant harvest and was busy with foraging and gathering wood. On Sunday, I crafted a butter churner. As the name suggests, it turns milk into butter. Crazy, I know. I got a void egg a while ago which was ready to hatch that day, and I named the little guy Patches. Then incubated the dino egg, found Andy in the Cindersap forest near Aurora Vineyard, where he explained to me that the previous owners, Jerry and Elizabeth, tried their best to keep the vineyard going, but due to an ongoing recession, they couldn't afford to live here anymore. I think at least. I'm not entirely sure what happened here. He goes on about saying that apparently the same thing happened to someone who lived in the tiny house south of Fairhaven Farm, and now there's a freakish cretin of a mouse living there. Excuse you, Andy? First of all, Hat Mouse is precious and the most important member of our society. Second, you cannot convince me that this is an actual farmhouse, like as if anyone lived there. After this uncomfortable cutscene, I bought another apple from the traveling merchant. The wizard gifted me some green tea earlier, which I used to finish the artisan bundle, and while there bought the 10k gold bundle from the vault. I had Gunther visiting me the next morning, where he let me know that thanks to all of my numerous contributions, the Regional Secretary of Artifacts gave the museum a generous donation and that I'll be receiving a small portion of that as well. More money is always great. Today I harvested my amaranth and cranberries, and it is the first day of blackberry season. So I spent a good amount of my time looking for any berries around the Cindersap forest. In town I accepted Willie's Juicy Bug Wanted quest, handed Claire a sunflower for her birthday, and was looking for, yet again, more blackberries. The following day I received a whopping 40,000 gold in the mail from the Secretary of Artifacts. Pretty sure it's illegal to send money in the mail, but thank you very much. A letter from the wizard where he said that he's willing to teach me some light magic now. I'll make sure to visit him later. I made my way over to the community center where I finished the animal bundle, which gave me a freaking auto grabber as a reward. That goes straight into the barn. And with my newfound riches, I at last had enough money to buy the final bundle from the vault, completing another room, making good progress in the community center. The bookseller was in town that day, where I bought The Way of the Wind Part 1 from him because being able to run faster is always nice. I visited Magnus in his chambers where he brewed a potion for me. Thankfully, it wasn't as disgusting as the last one he gave me. With this elixir, I can begin to accumulate mana, which will allow me to cast minor magic. Downstairs, he taught me how to use the shrine and change my appearance. He complimented me on the progress and mentioned that maybe he will teach me even more spells in the future. Back in Pelican Town, I finally came across a special dig spot, which gave me my first broccoli seeds. I was starting to get a bit worried at this point, since I'll need these to finish the fall crop set. The remaining time was spent down in the mines to get started on Willy's quest. And as if the day couldn't get any better, I found another prismatic shard. I am so ready for the Skull Cavern. And speaking about it, after going to bed, I saw the Junimos fixing up the old bus. Before heading to the desert, I stopped by the carpenter where I saw that there is a premium coop upgrade now as well. That's definitely new. It comes with an auto petter, grabber, and a heater. Obviously this is far out of my price range at the moment, but I'm already looking forward to this in the future. I was here to commission a stable. Then I took the bus and went to the Calico Desert for the first time. I said hello to Sandy, even brought her a sweet pea. I picked up any coconuts and cacti on my way and traded my precious shard for the Galaxy Sword. I came somewhat prepared this time, and down I went into the cavern. Already on floor 12, I found a mystery note and got a third prismatic shard. I made sure to murder any purple slimes that I saw in hopes of getting more iridium ore. I actually found a special slime shortly after, which dropped the crystal shoes. More speed? Yes please. My luck ended though on level 23 because this was a spiral floor and I cannot be bothered with that right now, so I'm out of here. That was a very successful first Skull Cavern trip. 67, I dropped off the iridium ore and coal that I found yesterday over at Clint's so that he can finally remove the boulder that is blocking the summit entrance. While there I commissioned a copper watering can, and then I was back in the mines to work on Willy's quest. Despite it being a very bad luck day, I managed to find 2 ancient seeds and make good progress on getting that bug meat. Also leveled up my combat skill. On Friday I had Gus waiting for me outside. He gifted me a mini jukebox, and yes, I know I still haven't upgraded my house. I'll do it eventually. The stable construction was done, and I love how my horse looks. There is only one fitting name for her, and that is of course Roach. It is the only option. The straw hat doesn't fit her at all, so I'll need to buy a different one soon. Together with my new friend, we rode over to Robin's where I commissioned a deluxe barn upgrade. The rest of the money was spent on pumpkin seeds. While running around in Ridgeside, I overheard Maeve scolding Aria for crying during one of her exams. And because she feels ashamed of that, she cried again. Only for Maeve to tell her to pull it together, and then she just left her. Like she just went away. I tried to comfort Aria and just said it's okay to cry, because guess what? It is okay to cry. Doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult, it's totally fine to show emotions, just saying. What was I doing here again? Oh yes, a very important business. It was June's birthday, and he got one of my finest gold quality coffee beans. After that I visited the summit for the first time. I need to remember to come here at least once a month, as there's seasonal forage in this area. And lastly, I finished Willy's Bug Wanted quest by gathering a total of 100 bug meat. Dropped it all off at the pier and collected yet another prize ticket. On Funny Number Day, I had my first sweet potato harvest. I have no idea where I put the prize ticket that I just got, I couldn't find it, but Alex gave me another one for finishing a request. I traded it for an apple sapling, which I'm gonna save for the greenhouse. An amethyst for Abby's birthday, had the infamous tea room cutscene with her mom Caroline. I should have probably come here a bit sooner, but the tea sapling recipe got a hefty nerf in 1.6, and I personally don't think it's worth selling them anymore. I purchased 2 rabbits from Marnie's, Nephelia and Nile, and the rest of the money was spent on, yet again, more pumpkin seeds. I was back in Ridgeside after that, where I visited Gio's hut and got introduced to Daya, who makes very uncomfortable comments all the time. Not a fan of her. I was tasked to find so-called cursed artifacts within the rich forest. There's quite a few of these that I need to find, and some of them will only show up during specific weather conditions and time of the day. Since I have the Galaxy Sword now, I felt pretty confident, but that changed rather quickly. You see, in this part of the forest, monsters will spawn constantly. Like, I mean, constantly. They're super tanky and they hit like a truck, so it's important to not get overrun and try not to spend too much time here. While there's a lot of dangerous enemies around, you can also find good forage and even rare items. So it's worth coming here, sometimes, but not today, as this was an absolute waste of my time. I found none of the items that I need to offer. Not a single one. So I'm out of here. Day 70, I maxed out my farming skill while picking up the pumpkin harvest, collected my new watering can, and upgraded my hoe once again. The late morning was spent in Ridgeside, where I had breakfast at Pika's with June. We talked about his home and his very slight coffee obsession. I thanked him for the invitation and then went back to the farm, where I spent the majority of the day. I cleaned up a good chunk of the area, and while doing that, I saw that I had a random mushroom tree spawned in the middle of all of that. After going to bed, I took the artisan profession for farming and maxed out foraging as well, where I went with the botanist perk. On Monday I found the prize ticket that I got from finishing Willie's request the other day. Don't know why it's in the artisan chest, but I'm glad I didn't sell it by accident. In town I accepted Gus's famous omelette request, where he wants me to bring him 24 eggs. In exchange for the ticket I got Friendship 101. Then I was off to the desert for another Skull Cavern trip. On floor 25 I got a seed maker from a treasure chest, which I was very excited about because I'm gonna need that soon. Despite it being a good luck day, I had like 3 spiral floors, which was not fun. I didn't manage to come that far, but that was to be expected, as I still had no bombs nor staircases. But I managed to get at least a little bit of iridium ore, so that's good. The next day I received a letter from Mr. G, who congratulated me for making it to floor 25. I don't know how he knows that, but thanks for the pocket money, I guess. It was the day of the StardewValley fair, and just in time my ancient fruit wine was ready. I looked through all of my chests and took out the best items that I had, made my way over to the festival, where I made sure to talk with everyone. Pika even brought his food stall all the way down to Pelican Town, where I bought a lucky lunch and Ridgeside Shakatini for future Skull Cavern runs. When I put my items on display, I realized that apparently I'm too stupid to count, as I forgot something. I only have 8 items. You're supposed to bring 9. I've been playing this game for like half a decade now, and I still forget easy things like that. Well, good thing I bought those 2 meals from Pika's, so I put on the lucky lunch on display as well, even though that's kinda cheaty since I didn't make it myself. There was a lot of competition here this time. Sophia, Andy, Susan, and of course the people from Ridgeside as well. Yet somehow I still managed to win, and I got the blue ribbon achievement for that. First thing I bought was of course a star drop from the festival booth. There was also a new type of furniture catalog that I haven't seen before, but 9,999 star token seems a bit too much. As per usual, I wanted to make sure that I get most of the items from the festival stall so that I don't have to worry about it anymore next year, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I had a really rough time at the spinning wheel. If you don't know, in the vanilla version of the game, the spinner will almost always land on green, and I'm pretty sure they changed it in the expanded version. I was here for an embarrassing amount of time. The recording was over 40 minutes long. 40 minutes. I kept losing over and over, multiple hundreds of star tokens. I was legitimately getting so angry at some point that I just said, fuck, I don't care about the stupid spinning wheel anymore, and just played the shooting and fishing game. I got the prize ticket and rare crow eventually, and that was enough. I cannot be bothered to spend any more time here, and from now on, I'm gonna have nightmares of that damn spinning wheel. No thank you. Wednesday was more relaxing, thankfully. I bought my first 3 pigs from the ranch, Ed, Sparkly, and Uria. The fairy rose was the last item for the garden bundle, which gave me 3 bee houses as a reward. The focus for today was handing out gifts, both in Pelican Town and Ridgeside. While doing that, I got a cutscene with Ian, where he tried to write a letter to his parents, but was struggling a lot with grammar and spelling. Don't worry, I'm also really bad at English, nothing to be ashamed of. And before heading back home, I watched the sunset together with June. 74 was an exciting day. I had everything ready to finish the quality crops and fall crops bundle, thus completing another room and finally unlocking the greenhouse. Well, tomorrow that is. It is mid-fall and I still do not have a pond on my farm, which is not acceptable, criminal almost. So I went over to Robin's and commissioned one. Then I took the bus to the desert for another Skull Cavern trip. And on floor 23, I found an autopetter in a treasure chest. And I might be wrong here, but I think this was the very first time ever that I found an auto petter. Just goes to show how rare these things actually are. Shortly after that, I reached level 8 in combat. I managed to find 2 books while down there as well, which I'm gonna save for the Mastery Cave. And at the end of the day, I saw the little Junimos repairing the greenhouse, and a raccoon walking over water. The sweet gemberries were done growing the next day. Also, I forgot to record that bit, but yesterday evening the dino egg hatched, and I named him Littlefoot. I picked up the steel hoe at Clint's, opened a few geodes and mystery boxes while there, and donated the new stuff to the museum. Being a Friday, I made sure to stop by the traveling cart, and she blessed me today with a red cabbage seed. Now we can at least finish the dye bundle. After that I had a first look into my newly built greenhouse, and as you can see, it looks a bit different now. I have indeed a greenhouse mod installed, and I think I can even upgrade it, but I need to look into that. I put all of the ancient fruit that I had inside the seed maker, planted a cabbage seed, and a total of 10 ancient seeds. Not too bad. And yes, I know the sprinklers aren't centered. I didn't know that this layout was for quality sprinklers, not iridium ones, which I really wish I knew before crafting the expensive ones, but whatever. Since I had the sweet gemberries now, I made my way into the secret woods where Totoro was waiting for me. He came here in hopes of finding the sweetest taste, so I handed him the berry, and in return he rewarded me with my 3rd star drop. I always wonder how these would taste. And the last thing I did that day was stop by the tavern to drop off the eggs for Gus's request. After this recording, I went to check out the greenhouse mod, and turns out it's not upgradable. Instead, I can just change the size in the mod menu, and that's exactly what I did, which adds another room to the right side. After taking care of my animals, I went up to the cable car because today is the Ridgeside gathering. During this event, the girls and boys both have stalls set up where they sell different items, and it's so worth checking these every time. I got a rare seed, battery pack, and a very cheap iridium sprinkler. The highlight of the festival is the concert later in the evening where we see Abby, Sam, and Seb play together. Once again, rather awkward for me as I watched him play in complete silence. The pond construction was done on 77, where I put in that one sturgeon I had. I'm already thinking ahead for the missing bundle later. I gifted Robin a peach, and I'm sorry, I know it's your birthday, but you have more work to do as I finally commissioned a house upgrade. Down at the beach, I came across Willy, who was using all the bug meat I brought him the other week as bait. That's terrifying, by the way. As a thanks, he showed me how to craft quality bobbers, which is one of the most useless bobbers in the game, but thanks anyways. The rest of my money was spent on starfruit seeds and 3 ice creams, as I need that for the bulletin board. Planted all of them in the greenhouse, and I learned that the plot to the right side is for iridium sprinklers, and that's where I planted the leftover coffee beans I had. Monday was spent in the Skull Caves. All day. Don't really have much to say about this. I found my first prehistoric floor and maxed out my mining skill. Now the only thing that is missing is combat. On day 79 I collected my first rabbit's foot from the coop, accepted the prismatic jelly quest from the wizard, commissioned a gold hoe from Clint, and then went to the mines to start looking for that jelly. Finished another Monster Slayer goal while down there, for Duggies I think it was. I was here for many in-game hours, and actually much later on an infested floor, I found the little bugger. Did not expect to find him on the same day, but that's another special request completed. The following morning I woke up in a bigger house, and what's weird is that somehow my single bed got transformed into a double bed. That's not concerning at all. The house also looks different from the outside, which I adore. I went straight back to the carpenter shop and commissioned a second pond. Dropped off the jelly for the wizard, purchased the butterfly bow from the hat mouse, which I gave to Roach, and she looks adorable. The rest of the day was spent on the farm, gathering wood and stone. The red cabbage was done on 81, got my first fish smoker for trading in the latest price ticket, grabbed the newly upgraded gold hoe and commissioned an iridium pickaxe. Then I tried out the kitchen and made 3 homemade cookies. These got donated to the bulletin board along with the minor treats and ice creams, thus completing the children's bundle. And the dye bundle with the red cabbage. After that I visited Willy's shack, where I purchased the iridium rod along with 2 cork bobbers. Then ventured down into the mines, where after a little while I caught an ice pip. Also, I'm still only at level 9 in fishing, I kinda forgot about that. The ice pip got donated to the bulletin board as well, and that's another bundle completed. It is day 82, And yep, I forgot to record. It wouldn't be a Guiding Pixels 100 days video without me forgetting to record now, would it? So once again, we're back with random stock images in Canva. Luckily, you really didn't miss that much. The second pond was done where I put in a fixer eel because these have a chance to produce battery packs, and I cannot stress how important batteries are in this playthrough. They're one of the rarest resources, so I hope I can get a few from the pond. I was handing out gifts and gathered more wood. In the evening I got a cutscene with Marlon where he congratulated me on getting the Galaxy Sword, and picked up the book Mapping Cave Systems, which is in a room behind him that you can only enter after killing 1,000 enemies. That's it, that was the day. Thanks future me for editing this amazing presentation. On Saturday my pigs found their first and only truffle this season. I harvested all of my pumpkins, went over to Marnie's where I purchased 2 heaters, almost forgot about those, and an auto grabber for the coop. Commissioned another silo from Robin, then just smooched around the farm for a little while, waiting together for Roach or the Spirit's Eve to start. And let me tell you, this is hands down my favorite festival so far. Everyone has their own unique Halloween costumes, and I am obsessed. I had so much fun walking around and looking at each and every person's outfit. Tort is a Ninja Turtle, Carmen the Cookie Monster, Pika is Maui from Vaiana, he even has the hook and everything, and my personal favorite is Jody as Maleficent. Hats up to whoever designed all of these. After marveling at everyone's costumes, it was time for the spooky maze, and if you didn't know, in Expanded the layout is a bit different. I was struggling for a little bit, but made it to the end and eventually grabbed the golden pumpkin from the treasure chest. On day 84 I got 50 soda cans from Andy. Thanks, I guess? Picked up any remaining harvest from the field, made 1 moss soup, and with that finished the wild medicine bundle. I felt adventurous today, so together with Roach, I ventured into the rich forest once more. I did find a couple of new items this time, like this yellow sculpture, lots of mountain mist bloom flowers, and got a teddy bear from this ghost child. I had so many enemies after me at this point that I decided it's time to go back home. See, the longer you stay in the rich forest, the more monsters will spawn. It's also important to slay the enemies that spawn in this area as they drop so-called spiritual essence, another new resource, but I cannot be bothered with that right now. It is the first day of winter and look how cute my house is. I love how there's different decorations in every season, it's so good. I had to plant a few carrots in the greenhouse that were done growing today. And with those 15 carrots, I completed the fodder bundle, which gave me a freaking auto-petter as a reward. Yeah, some of these rewards seem a bit too good, but hey, I'm not complaining. While in town I collected the upgraded pickaxe, my first iridium tool, and then spent most of the day setting up a new sprinkler layout. It's not super optimal and probably not gonna stay like that, but it's fine for now. And when I was done, I realized that was kind of a waste of my time anyways, since I only have 2 powder melon seeds at the moment, but yeah, whatever. 86, I saw Krobos running away from me in the morning, and 2 seconds later I nabbed the magnifying glass from him. Sorry little guy, but I need this more than you do. In town I found a few snow yams by hoeing the ground, and at last finished the crafts room. I accepted a mysterious venture from Marlon where he wants me to bring him different kinds of bombs. Then wanted to upgrade my house again, but it's a Robic class today, meaning that Robin wasn't here. So instead I visited Ridgeside to do more foraging, and yes, I forgot to install the winter grass mod. But I don't think I really need it, and it's so much easier to see where all of the forage is without all of the grass. Later in the evening I crafted the requested bombs for Marlon, bought the rest of them from the dwarf since I was missing a few materials, and dropped everything off at the box in the Adventure Guild. When leaving the building, I got a cutscene with Marlon, where he told me about Krobos and that he wants me to meet him. Together we made our way over to the sewers and he introduced me to him. Marlon said that I have earned his trust and gifted me a copy of the sewers key, so now I can visit Krobos whenever I want to. And that's exactly why it's important to befriend Marlon as soon as you can. Linus got an iridium cactus for his birthday, waited for a carpenter to open, where I commissioned that house upgrade. The quarry is open now, which is really great, since I am in dire need of more coal. Can't forget about the quarry mine, where I grabbed the golden scythe from the statue. Later I said hello again to Krobos, where I also brought him a void egg. I cannot afford anything from his shop at the moment, so I'll have to come back later again. On day 88, I got another cutscene with Marlon, where he inspected the bombs I brought him the other day. Turns out they aren't actually for him, but for this guy called Jadu, a wizard from Castle Village. My reward for completing this quest are new decorations which I can purchase from this book inside Marlon's room. In town I was occupied with fishing, caught a lingcod and perch, then tried for a lava eel down in the mines, and actually got one rather quickly. Since I'm so high level in fishing now, catching wasn't an issue. And lastly, I fished by the beach, where I caught a few squids in preparation for the upcoming squid festival, but also to finish the night fishing bundle, completing the entire fish tank. Now the only thing that is missing is the bulletin board, and it's gonna be tough to finish it within the time frame, simply because of the Book of Stars. I have no idea where I would even try to look for this, as this can only be found in mystery boxes, a quest reward from the raccoon, but he hasn't even shown up yet, and I guess the bookseller. I did check his shop the next day, but he didn't have it in his stock, so tough luck. Blair got a flower for her birthday, then I met a friendly bear in the Cinesep forest. I brought him some maple syrup, and in exchange for that, he shared his beer knowledge with me. That day, I took the time to look at every single item that was still missing in the community center. The chef's bundle is no issue, I already have everything except for the cavia. As I said before, the enchanter bundle is tricky with the Book of Stars, but the most problematic one is actually the home cook bundle. Up until this point, I haven't paid much attention to this at all, and at that very moment, I realized that the community center is near impossible to complete this year. See, they want me to donate a maple bar, which is a cooking recipe you learn from the Queen of Sauce in year 2. Doesn't really seem that fair to me. I mean, I guess you could find maple bars in trash cans or at the traveling cart. I honestly don't know. Either way, it's unfortunate that I cannot complete the community center this year, but it's fine. Not much I can do about it. I already have the greenhouse, which is the most important reward anyways, but yeah, not gonna lie, this kinda annoyed me a little bit. Anyways, on Saturday I woke up in a very empty, but also a lot bigger house. I'll decorate once I have a bit more money again. I commissioned a steel watering can from Clint, got the copper pan from Willy, not that I really care about panning, but now I have it. Then spent a few in-game hours in the Ska Cavern to work on my combat level. I harvested my starfruit and pumpkins on 91, bought a very cheap seafoam pudding from the traveling merchant, and mostly just cleaned up debris on the farm. Day 92 was the Festival of Ice, and this is probably my least favorite event. I don't know why, just not a fan. I purchased a rare crow and pumpkin soup from a stall, then started the fishing competition where I won by catching 6 slimy fish. 93 I spent all my money on starfruit seeds, 85 to be exact. It was a good luck day, so naturally I was in the Ska Cavern again, making sure to slay every single enemy on each floor for that sweet combat experience. The next morning I crafted my first iridium band, which I swapped out with the magnet ring. After going to bed yesterday, there was a fierce windstorm overnight, which means one of the big trees near the ranch was gone by now. But with 100 pieces of hardwood, I could turn it into something useful, which I brought over right away since I am very eager to finally meet the raccoon. While strolling around town, I came across Sophia, who was noticeably in a very sad mood. To cheer her up, I asked if she wanted to pet Dusty, which thankfully seemed to do the trick. At the special order board, I accepted Gunther's Fragment of the Past quest, picked up the steel watering can, planted the starfruit in a greenhouse, and lastly ventured into the mines to start collecting those bones. Which continued on 95. This was done rather quickly, as this time I came with a glass of Monster Musk. I handed Gunther the 100 pieces of bones, picked up another prize ticket, which earned me the StardewValley Almanac. Not that I need the farming XP anymore, but it will come in handy very soon. The following day I got the bone meal recipe from Gunther, collected the first batch of ancient fruit in a greenhouse, which was turned into more seeds for planting. On my way to the traveling cart, I saw that the raccoon already moved in. The requested items will have to wait a bit, because today is the first day of the annual Squid Festival. I popped in the 2 squids into the bait maker, which I safely put into my inventory again. I don't want anyone destroying more of my machines, and then just fished at the beach. Cue the fishing montage. After I caught 10 squid, I collected my rewards from the festival booth. Before going to bed, I handed out a few gifts at the Stardrop Saloon, where I had a cutscene with June, who was smoking a cigarette outside. I had no idea that he smoked, but when I asked about it, he just said that he doesn't smoke. But like, dude, I saw you holding a cigarette. Turns out that he was actually a bit drunk, because Gus had a special rice wine in store, which reminded him about the time when he used to live in Zuzu City. Now there's an expansion mod that I haven't tried out. He said that he missed the lifestyle that he used to have back in the city. I had no idea that June used to be such a party animal. I mean, I never really liked going out, nor smoking, so I can't really relate to that. On Saturday I finally remembered to buy the star drop from Krobus, and then did more squid hunting. One of the rewards that day was a seafoam pudding, which is always great to have. I tried to put the squid head on Roach, but it looked kinda weird, so she'll be keeping the bow. I stayed at the beach until I reached fishing level 10, and now the only skill that isn't maxed out is combat. Harvey got a cup of coffee for his birthday on 98, purchased a few ingredients from Pierce, and with the rice made one maki roll. This allowed me to finish the chef's bundle. Being a Sunday, I traded my jade to the desert trader for 35 staircases. Then it was time for more Skull Cavern exploration, and today it happened. On floor 42, I maxed out my combat skill. You know what that means, I am finally allowed to enter the Mastery Cave, and can collect Mastery points from now on. I grabbed all the books I've been hoarding so far, but the XP that I got from them wasn't even enough for 1,000 points, and I need 10,000 points, so yeah, this is gonna take a while. I visited the blacksmith where I commissioned an iridium axe, opened geodes and mystery boxes while there, which gave me a few new items to donate. Accepted Robin's project where she wants me to gather 80 pieces of hardwood, harvested and replanted more winter seeds, then wanted to start on collecting that hardwood, but remembered that I don't have my axe with me at the moment, so oops. Instead I went to Ridgeside village, where I visited Lenny in her office. She complimented me on my work at Moonlight Farm, and thanks to me, there's been more tourists in Ridgeside lately. And more tourists means more income for the town. She's been saving some funds to rebuild one of the local greenhouses, and has the money now, but is missing a few materials for that. Finally! I have been waiting for this. The materials are nothing too complicated, just loads of iron bars and a bit of hardwood and stone. I already have everything except for the iron, so I got to smelt in the bars right after that. Also crafted more furnaces while at it. Later in the evening I made my way over to the beach to check out the first day of the night market. I bought a few decorations from the vendors and then went fishing in the submarine, where I caught a midnight squid, blobfish and spookfish. Day 100 is upon us, and I already had all the necessary materials for the community greenhouse project. So looking forward to that. I crafted more wooden paths for the farm, commissioned a shed from Robin, and later mingled at the night market again. On Wednesday I gave the wizard a purple mushroom for his birthday, picked up my shiny new iridium axe, collected the hardwood for Robin. This was done super fast, thanks to the planted trees and stumps around the farm. One last time I was back at the night market, and thank God I came here today because the traveling merchant actually had a maple bar for sale. Maybe I can finish the community center after all. Upon visiting Ridgeside the next day, I saw that the greenhouse constructions were already finished. As Lenny mentioned before, this is a community greenhouse, meaning that other people in here also have their designated spots, and mine is the huge one to the left side. Well deserved, I think, since I contributed all the materials for it. I have no idea what to plant in here yet, so I'll come back to this in a few days again. After that I went to Robin's, where I commissioned a second barn, and while there, treated myself and bought the Orange Blossom furniture catalog. I've never used a furniture mod before, so I was extremely excited to test this out, and to finally get started on decorating the house. As you could have probably guessed, this took quite a while, getting used to the Happy Home Designer menu as well, since I never used that before. But yeah, I was super happy with the end results. I'm a huge fan of the aesthetics of this mod. It looks different, but not too different. Don't know if I'm gonna leave it like that, since I have a few other furniture mods as well, but it's a great start. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the furniture style. On 103, I went to Heap's general store in the morning, where I bought some deluxe speed grow, which was used in the greenhouse to plant more ancient fruit. I commissioned a gold watering can from Clint and went on a deforestation spree around the Cindersap forest. Cooked 1 baked fish and glazed yams the next day for the home cook bundle. The only thing that is missing now is the cranberry candy, which is a recipe I'll unlock soon. Today I put the first sprinklers into the community greenhouse, and if you're wondering why I'm using quality sprinklers instead of iridium ones, it's because I'm trying to save my batteries. As mentioned before, batteries are super valuable and I want to have Grandpa's shed repaired as soon as I can, but for that I need 20 batteries, and currently I either have 18 or 19, so that's why I don't want to craft any more iridium sprinklers. 105, I commissioned a big barn upgrade, bought over 100 starfruit seeds, planted those in a greenhouse, then I thought it was a good idea to explore in the Ridge Forest since it was a good luck day. Turns out it was not a good luck day, it was a terrible idea to come here because I died. Skill issue, I know. I got lost at some point and couldn't find my way back anymore, and I tried to eat something to not die, but those freaking ghosts inflict the nauseated? Is that how you say it?
Nauseated
debuff on you, which lasts several real-time minutes. I'm not mad. Not mad. Just a little pissed. Anyways, at least I managed to find 1 new artifact, so yay. Moving on to 106, where I picked up my new watering can. I accepted Robin's resource rush, where she wants me to collect 1,000 wood. Easy quest, and I need the wood anyways. But before gathering all of that, I had another special request from Ridgeside, where Maddie is in need of 20 bug meat. So I spent the majority of the day in the regular mines looking for insects and bugs. This took a lot longer than I thought it would, and I'm really unsure if this was worth the effort because this only gave me 10,000 gold as a reward. At least it's done now. I had my first biggest starfruit harvest in the greenhouse ready. Down at the beach, I stumbled upon June. He wanted to talk with me about the other day when I caught him smoking in front of the saloon. Back when he used to live in Zozo City, he worked at a jazz bar, which he really enjoyed doing. It was his dream job after all, but something felt off about it, he said. He picked up the habit of smoking back at that time, but he couldn't even remember when or why he started in the first place. June didn't like the person he'd become and decided it was time for a change. That's why he came here to the valley. For some reason he felt really ashamed of me seeing him smoking, but I just told him that he's my friend, and that's not gonna change anything about that. After that I was back in the Cindersap forest to gather wood. This was done in no time flash, thanks to the iridium axe. The prize ticket I collected gave me 8 Omni Geodes, which is great since I needed those for the Fixer Eel Pond. Lastly, I decorated more around the house. Wednesday was very uneventful. I commissioned the final barn upgrade from the carpenter and also moved some of the animal buildings around, and then just cleaned up on the farm. Day 109 was the Feast of the Winter Star event. I handed Susan 1 pink cake as her gift, and Andy also gifted me a pink cake. I've had much worse before, so I can't really complain about that. The following morning I visited Rasmodius at his tower, where we discussed the ancient magic regarding Lunna. Who is Lunna, you ask? Well, I'm not really sure myself. She's one of the modded villagers who lives right next to the wizard's tower, which I just haven't noticed up until this point. And the reason why I haven't mentioned her yet is because I barely interacted with her. Anyways, he asked if I plan to romantically pursue Lunna. Bit upfront, don't you think? But the answer is a no. Then he just told me to bug off. No, seriously, he told me to leave after that, so that was a waste of my time. I picked up the lucky charm from the Georgia truck that day in exchange for a rabbit's foot. Finally had all the items for the first raccoon request, 1 smoked perch and 5 snails. For that he gave me 25 carrot seeds. The next day I got a letter from the wizard where he asks me to come and visit him again. My guy, I was just there yesterday. More importantly, Pam sent me a battery. I most certainly can use this, thank you very much. Now I'm missing 1 more to get started on the shed repairs. After tending to my animals, I was off to the tower again. The meeting was so urgent because he discovered that Lunna's magic is related to Junimo magic. Magnus showed me the place where he found Lunna a while ago. She told him that he comes from a place called Umuwi, and that certain events led her to jump into a lake and she woke up here in this spot and was a human all of a sudden. The wizard opened a portal to the other realm and together we passed through. At the other side is a whole new area, which I assume is Umui? I'm not sure. I'm not too up to date with the expanded lore, but I am curious if I can return to this place again at some point. After that I commissioned a big shed from Robin, gave Sophia and Irene a birthday present, then just chilled on the farm. No pun intended. And here we are on day 112, the final day of the year. From the Queen of Sauce I learned the cranberry cooking recipe, got my first mastery point upon picking up the roe from the fish ponds, and went straight over to the mastery cave. This is always a tough choice, since most of these are very handy to have, especially the farming one, but same as last time, I went with the combat mastery. I need my little parrot companion by my side. After that I was off to the community center, where I finished the home cooks bundle by donating the cranberry candy. Now the only thing is missing is the darn enchanter bundle with the Book of Stars. Again, very unfortunate that we couldn't finish everything this year, but it is what it is. I said my goodbyes to June, as he'll be leaving Ridgeside and travel back home for spring and summer, then was running around the farm together with Roach, marveling at everything I accomplished so far. Later in the evening it was time for the Ember of Resolutions festival. I always thought it was a bit weird that Vanilla Stardew doesn't have a New Year's event, so I'm a huge fan of this. The highlight of the festival is the bonfire. Everyone from Pelican Town and Ridgeside brought one piece of wood that gets lit ablaze to burn away what we wish to leave behind and welcome the new year with new dreams and wishes. I put down my block of lumber, thought about my New Year's resolutions, which are of course to hopefully finish the community center soon, and together we watched this massive fire spectacle, which has to be a safety hazard by the way, this cannot be legal, and went to bed one last time this year. We're back on beautiful Moonlight Farm, where Kent introduced himself. Kimboy also stopped by to let me know that Nightingale Orchard has even more fruit saplings for sale now. When letting my animals outside, I realized I forgot to plant some grass for them. Already off to a good start. As per usual, when the season changes, I prepped the field for new seeds, made my way into town after that, where I saw Richard on Lenny, who picked up an old friend from the bus stop. This is Naomi, Shiro's and Yuma's mom. She's been working in a different city together with her husband to support their children with enough money. Don't think I mentioned this before, but Shiro had an accident during his military service, which left him physically disabled, so I assume that's why his parents are working overseas. Since Naomi is back in Ridgeside now, she'll be working in a log cabin hotel as an event planner. At the special order board, I accepted Pierre's prime produce and bought a whole lot of seeds over at Joja. Mostly cauliflower, but I bought a few of every kind since I like a colorful field. Later in the evening I went over to Ridgeside, where I had another cutscene, meeting another new person. This is Bryle. He works as a security guard for the governor, and he's good friends with Jarek. I thought at first that he was the ex-boyfriend of Faye, since they're always having an argument, but no, they just don't like each other, so that's cool I guess. Anyways, I was here to give Torts a birthday present. I went back to the Joja Mart, where I wanted to buy grass starters, but forgot they don't sell them here. When leaving the building, I had the infamous cutscene with Lewis and Marnie, where they were discussing their relationship. I wanted to skip this at first, since, well, I've seen it a million times, but I have a mod installed that gives me a new option to choose from. I told them that everyone would be very happy for them if they would make their relationship public. I never understood why Lewis is so secretive about this anyways. Earlier in the morning, I collected my first bigger batch of starfruit wine, which got sold for a hefty chunk of gold that day. Tuesday morning, I had more people waiting outside my door. Just love when that happens. Naomi was here to let me know that the hotel expansion had been finished. I didn't even know they were renovating. There's also a brand new cafe in the hotel lobby that will be managed by Malaya, where I can buy new recipes and of course new dishes. After Naomi left, I had another chat with Lewis and Marnie. Long story short, they are ready to announce their relationship to the town. And then Lewis just disappeared before my very own eyes. I guess he couldn't handle the pressure after all. The big shed constructions were done, so I relocated all the kegs inside in a new building. And since I have the automate mod, I don't have to worry about the layout this time. Thanks to the wine I sold yesterday, I had more than enough money to buy the final house upgrade from Robin. In town I saw Louis and Marnie, again, announcing their relationship in front of everyone in Pelican Town. I think at least that's what happened, the cutscene just faded out in the middle of it. Over at Pierce, I bought a bunch of grass starters for the animal area, then was looking for more cursed artifacts in the Ridge. I found 2 prismatic shards while there, just laying around, crazy. Dropped off the items that I found so far in Gio's house, and now I'm only missing 1 more. The last artifact only spawns after 6 PM, so I waited it out, though I had no luck finding it that day. However, I did get my very first trinket from killing the enemies on my way out, and it's a good one as well. The magic quiver is one of my favorites. While it does have a very irritating sound, it's way too good not to use. 115 I gifted Lunna a void egg for a big day, bought another 4 pigs at Marnie's, Lancy eggs, 40 sacks, Sanis eggs, and Placido sacks. Why yes, I have a slight obsession with Elden Ring, why do you ask? When looking for spring onions, I came across Andy, who was also foraging in the area. We took a break and relaxed at the nearby waterfalls, where I had a very sweet conversation with him. He said he used to be a bit jealous of Moonlight Farm, considering I had 0 farming experience when I first arrived, yet the farm is thriving. I mean, this is like my 10th playthrough, but he doesn't know that. And that he's proud of me. Thanks, Andy. Doesn't make up for the time when you trash talked about Hatmos over there, but his heart is in the right place. I spent some time cleaning up the path that leads to the secret woods area from my farm, and later in the evening I went back to the Ridge Forest, where I finally found the last cursed artifact, the Night Black Diamond. I dropped it off at the box in the ninja house and was tasked to return tomorrow for further instructions. The following day I met Sophia on my way into town, and she was crying. She did say hello to me, but quickly went back home. I wanted to check up on her to see if she was alright, so I followed her to the vineyard. At first she didn't seem like she wanted company, but then asked if I'd like to watch anime. I mean, who doesn't? So I stayed for a little while and we watched together on her TV. After that I went straight back to the ninja house, only to find a message on the door telling me to come back tomorrow. Again. Since I was already in the area, I purchased more deluxe speedgirl from Lorenzo, then had a look inside the log cabin hotel to check out the new bakery that Naomi was talking about. I bought a few of the cooking recipes as well, since I need to get started on that sooner or later anyways. Then cleared out the quarry later, because I was kinda bored and didn't know what else to do. On Friday I saw that Robin was done with the cellar construction, meaning I have access to casks now. Had my first garlic harvest. The raccoon already found himself a wife, and I checked the second request from him. This time he wants some dried cactus fruit, so I headed over to Pierce and bought the dehydrator crafting recipe from him. I was back in Ridgeside after that, where I had a chat with Carmen. I finished a request for her a while ago, and as a way of saying thanks, she shared one of her family secrets with me. Now Ridgeside fish will sell for double the price, which is pretty damn good. I cleaned up the fiber next to the cable car entrance when I noticed there was a hatch that I could interact with. Down there was a whole new area that I've never seen before. Upon clicking on the boulder, it says that this is unimplemented future content. Very excited to see what they're gonna do down here. After 8 PM, I stopped by the Ridge Forest where I came across a new face, Belinda. She's the seer for the red-tailed lady, and she's here to find the spirit realm and to cleanse it from the spiritual corruption. She thanked me for finding all the cursed artifacts around the ridge, and I had to do all of this alone since apparently I am the only one who can read anything written inside that book. I followed her to the ninja house where Bliss, Daya, and Gio showed up as well. They all had different kinds of relics with them that they gave over to Belinda. Together with those and the cursed artifacts that I gathered, Belinda threw them on the ground and performed some sort of ritual. I'm getting a whole lot of red flags from this. The screen turned red, and all of a sudden the items disappeared in thin air. Well, whatever she tried to achieve, it didn't work out. Belinda was furious when all of a sudden a voice appeared, saying that the portal was unstable and that it would have consumed all of us together. Excuse me? I didn't sign up for any of this. Belinda cursed out the spirit's name, which I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. There's a whole lot of back and forth between those two, but the short of it is, the spirit needs to be unsealed to be able to speak to Belinda in person, and if she refuses to do so, she will always try to stop Belinda from opening the spirit realm, as it is simply too dangerous to do alone. The voice disappeared shortly after, and Bliss asked who the voice belonged to. Turns out, it's Belinda's beloved, someone she cares about deeply. The next step is to unseal the spirit, and I was also tasked to help with this, as according to Belinda, the spirit was a very close friend of my grandmother. I know this was like a huge lore dump, but this is like my favorite part about the Ridgeside expansions, so I don't want to leave any of this out. The next morning I helped Pika around the restaurant since Corin didn't have any time today. Then I was once again back in the forest. Belinda explained to me that in order to free the spirit, I need to appease the crystals of the mountain. There are multiple of these scattered around the area and I have to offer certain items to them. The crystals will only accept objects that resonates with them. These are usually items that have the same color as the corresponding crystal. It's kinda like that one Mr. G quest where you have to donate 100 items of the same color. I have to offer 30 items to 7 different crystals, and since I'm really interested in the storyline, I made that my task for today. Thankfully I'm kind of a hoarder when playing StardewValley, so most of the colors were pretty easy to deal with. Salmon berries for the red crystal, Jojo Cola for the blue one, moss for the color green, sap for yellow, and maple seed for orange. Grey and purple was a bit more tricky, so I had to return back to the farm and look at more options. The grey one was finished with a few slime balls, and for purple I actually sacrificed some of my iridium ore. In hindsight I should have just used more of my purple flowers, but it's whatever. Upon finishing the last crystal, the voice appeared again, thanking me for my efforts and to come back again tomorrow. But I actually had other plans that day. I brought the dried cactus fruit and the cherry jelly to the raccoon, finishing another request for him, and for that he rewarded me with the raccoon's journal. When picking up the truffles from the piggies, I got jump scared by a truffle crab. Every time this gets me. Being a Sunday and a very good luck day, I took the bus over to the desert, traded my jade for staircases, spent all of my money on starfruit seeds, and ventured down into the skull cavern. I found 2 treasure floors, one with a purple slime egg and the other with another seed maker. Can never have too many of those. I acquired my second trinket that day, the berry box, and it's already at level 4, which is really nice. Though unfortunately I'm not a fairy box enjoyer, at least not with this setup, so I'm gonna keep my magic quiver on for now. The following day I harvested the starfruit in a greenhouse, removed the old soil with the cheap fertilizer, hoed the ground once again and planted a bunch of ancient seed with deluxe speed growth fertilizer. I'm well aware that starfruit wine is a bit more profitable than ancient fruit, but then I would also have to replant the starfruit all the time and I just cannot be bothered with that. Ancient fruit takes a very long time to grow, but after the first harvest it will keep reproducing every 7 days, which is great for lazy people like me. Also crafted another 20 kegs for the shed. I collected the last gold quality vegetable for PS Prime produce on 121, dropped everything off at the store and finished another special request. I accepted the charity wishlist from Maeve, where I need to gather a whole bunch of milk, eggs and wool, though I'm not quite sure if I can actually finish this one on time. I gave Anton a birthday present, harvested the starfruit in a greenhouse, chopped down every single tree in the nearby area, and after 8 I was once again back in the rich forest, where Belinda and Bliss were already waiting for me. Belinda still had all of the cursed artifacts from the last attempt and formed them together to perform another ritual. This time it was more successful. We followed Belinda into the newly opened up area where I got introduced to Rayriyala? Rayriyala, is that how you say it? I'm just gonna call her Ray from now on. She's the mountain spirit, or the red-tailed lady as Belinda described her. Once again, this is a rather long cutscene, so I'm gonna try my best to summarize everything quickly. As Belinda mentioned the other day, Ray used to be a very close friend of my grandma. Back when both my grandparents were alive, the valley lived in peace and harmony, until the day the corruption started to appear around the mountains, which was caused by an evil entity named Gabriella. She goes on to explain that the corruption used to be manageable until it reached the spirit realm, the place Belinda has been trying to reach before. Both Ray and the seer cannot enter the spirit realm without any serious repercussions towards the real world. Actually, Belinda used to be a corrupted spirit, and only thanks to Ray, she found her way back once again. Don't know what any of that means, but once again, I'm getting a whole lot of red flags from this conversation. So back to my grandmother. Like my grandpa and myself, she had a connection to the spirits, meaning she was able to enter the corrupted realm without getting lost. She ventured into the spirit world, did something, according to Ray, which seemed to stabilize the corruption and maintain it once more in the human world. But when my grandpa returned from the spirit realm, she was unconscious and fell victim to a curse. And a few seasons later, she unfortunately passed away. And now Ray and Belinda want to finish what my grandmother started all those years ago. Look, I played Terraria before. I know a thing or two about corruption, so you're in good hands. Sort of. Just like before, we need the appropriate relics in order to power up a proper portal for the spirit realm, which once collected need to be placed on these pedestals that surround us. Now I have the Ridge Falls location unlocked, and I can also offer items to Ray for different blessings, which is a very neat mechanic, but I'm actually never gonna use, at least not this year. Vincent got a grave for his birthday, accepted Emily's rock rejuvenation quest, got 4 bee houses from a ticket machine, and then I was in the mood for more Skull Cavern shenanigans. And I was super happy I came here because on floor 36, a serpent dropped my beloved parrot egg. And of course I have a cosmetic mod for that as well. After a good 5 minutes of back and forth between the mod configuration menu, I settled on the one with the white skin. I love him to bits, he's so cute. Also I reached my 2nd mastery level that day and decided on the farming mastery, mainly because of the iridium scythe. On 123 I bought 2 sheeps from Marnie's, Sif and Artorias. And while there, might as well also buy the animal catalog since Marnie doesn't work all week around. I handed Emily the crystals for her rock rejuvenation ceremony, which is by far the easiest quest for the special order board. I had a peek at the blessed artifact list in the ninja house. These are scattered around Ridgeside and not the forest this time. Luckily, I still remember most of the locations from my last modded run. The music box is hidden behind this painting in the hotel, the hero trophy by fishing in the well, the Everfrost zone from Nightingale Orchard, the elven comp next to this abandoned house on the hike trail, the spirit statue behind the bench near the lookout, an opal halo next to the cable car, and the sapphire pearl by Tortz's pond. That's the ones that I know of, so for the remaining ones I have to check the book again. On Friday I got the sewing machine from Emily for finishing her request. I put my first ancient fruit and starfruit wine for aging down in the basement, and while at it, crafted another 30 more casks. Purchased a horse book, which lets me run a tiny bit faster while on Roach, handed Ezekiel a birthday present, then tried to catch the legend at the mountain lake. The first time he got away, but on my 2nd attempt I reeled it in. That's 1 legendary fish down, and so many more to go, as of course Ridgeside also has their own category of legendary fish, as well as the expanded mod. With the legend in my possession now, I of course had to build another pond. If you didn't know, we can now place legendary fish inside fish ponds, thanks to the 1.6 update, and the aged roe sells for a nice chunk of money, and I like having money. Later in the afternoon, I stopped by the Emethin mansion where I came across Irene. She was working on a new dish and asked if I wanted to help out and taste test with her. I told her that the food was delicious, and she mentioned that she's perfecting her skills because she wants to impress Zane, Louis' older brother, who I haven't even met yet. He visits the town from time to time, and she's been having a crush on him ever since they first met years ago. That actually makes me wonder when I do finally get to meet him. Day 125, I tested out the iridium scythe for the first time, and this never gets boring. It's so satisfying to use. Being the 13th, it was the annual Egg Festival, and I completely missed this last year, but Ridgeside has its own area up here. Very cute. I bought the plush bunny, 2 lawn flamingos, and of course a bunch of strawberry seeds from the stall. Then it was time for the egg hunt. This time I managed to collect 10 eggs in total, and if you're wondering why I'm not skipping the festival to do more productive things, it's because of the sweet prize ticket you get from winning after the first year. So worth it. The following morning, my fixer eel pond blessed me with 4 battery packs. That's huge. Upon visiting the raccoon, I saw that he already had a baby. Boy, you guys really don't waste any time, do you? Which means he had a new request for me. This time consisting of dried mushrooms and white algae. I opened a few mystery boxes at Clint's, which contained a golden pumpkin. I'll come back to that in a bit on why that's important. I already had both of the items for the raccoon, so I dropped those off, then put the batteries, hardwood and stone inside Grandpa's shed. Still missing quite a bit of iron, so I'll have to go to the mines again soon. I was back at the Amethyst house later to hand Maeve a birthday gift, where I finally got to meet Zane. And I have to admit, I can see why Irene has a crush on this guy. Now back to that golden pumpkin I got earlier. I wanted to try out a few different hats, and thanks to the sewing machine I got from Emily, I tailored the witch hat. It didn't really match my outfit, and I wanted to change the colors over at the shrine at the wizard basement, but unfortunately you cannot do that for some reason. You can change everything else except your clothes. So I had to tailor my own. Also, I learned that day that you can dye clothes by using different items. In my case, I used coal to turn my skirt black, Even after all these years of playing, I'm still learning new things about this game. I tried around for a little while, I was going for a witchy vibe, but I just couldn't quite get there. So I'll be keeping my default outfit on, for now at least. The next day I put the legend inside the newly constructed pond. I finished a request for Jody, which not only earned me another prize ticket, but also the beloved Farmer achievement for reaching 10 hearts with 8 different people. The prize ticket I traded in for 1 magic rock candy, which I'm gonna need very soon, as it is the first day of the Desert Festival. My favorite new event. I got a free cactus from the Cactus Man. Look at him, he's adorable. Of course I had to try out Emily's outfit service since I am really craving a new look. And I think she was kinda cooking. This could definitely work. I accepted Marlon's Monster Hunt for a few easy eggs, munched down on my magic rock candy, and almost forgot about the chef. This guy gives you 1 free meal per day, and they stack with everything you ate before, so it's pretty important to get this. I got the ice rod not too long after entering, which I'm gonna keep on for now as it's more handy than the parrot down here. On floor 64 I returned back to the surface, showed Jill my egg rating, which landed me another 200 eggs, bumping it up to a total count of 471. Not too bad for the first day. He also gave me Jill's hat, which fits perfectly with my new outfit. I'm really enjoying the new look. 128 I picked up another 3 battery packs from the eel pond. After taking care of my daily farm chores, I went back to the Desert Festival. Once again I was back inside Emily's shoebox for another outfit change. Since these are free to do, there's no reason to never do these. But today's outfit, yeah, wasn't really my thing. I'll be keeping the one on from yesterday. Shane was at the festival stall that day, which I was very delighted about because he has the chicken decal on sale, which is one of my favorite new wall pieces. George was the second person to set up shop, and from him I got 5 artifact trolls. Ordered a warrior smoothie from the chef and descended down into the cavern in search for more eggs. I found a treasure floor with 2 iridium sprinklers, super nice. I had to return a bit earlier today as I forgot to bring any food with me, and after getting my egg rating again from Jill, I ended up with over 700 eggs. And for the last time this year, I was back on Wednesday morning, waiting for the festival to open. This time Emily transformed me into a Greek goddess? ? Unfortunately, I had Harvey and Alex as vendors today, which is fine, but they don't have that many interesting items on display. I did get the radio desk and model planes, but I don't think I'm gonna use these items since I have so many furniture mods installed. Being the final day of the festival, I knew I had to get rid of the eggs, since they'll disappear after the event is over, so I got 1 magic rock candy, 5 lucky lunch, all the mystery boxes, and the rest went into mega bombs. After that I picked up my new iridium hoe from Clint, which I forgot to mention before. While there I opened the treasure troves and mystery boxes, from which I got the mystery hat and even the Book of Mysteries. For a split second I thought this was the Book of Stars, but it's still a good find nonetheless. 130 and 131 were spent in the regular mines gathering iron ore. Really, that's all I did. So we're skipping ahead to Saturday, where I dumped in the remaining 41 iron bars into the box, and hopefully Robin will repair the shed soon. And speaking about Robin, I requested a 3rd pawn from her after that. The rest of the day was spent on the farm, staring into the void for a little while as I was trying to figure out how I want to keep designing the area. I really need to get more sprinklers going, and for that I had to move the tree area. So I picked up a bunch of tree fertilizer from Nightingale Orchard and also bought all the new fruit saplings from there, as I really want to have a lot of them scattered around the farm. And purchased the rest of the vanilla ones that I was missing from Pierce. These got planted in a greenhouse. I crafted 28 more cakes for the wine shed, started to remove the old tree farm area. I really wish there was a faster way of getting rid of paths, which got located over to the new spot. The following morning I had Robin outside my door, letting me know that she will start on the shed repairs the very same day. I got the mini shipping bin in my mailbox for finishing Pierce's request the other day, reached the 3rd mastery level when I picked up the row from the ponds. I thought about this for a minute and decided to go with the foraging mastery, mainly for the golden mystery boxes, since they also have a chance of containing the Book of Stars. Remember, I still haven't finished the community center. The raccoon had another request ready for me, and then I was busy on the farm again. I finished the new tree layout, found another area located next to the fruit bat cave entrance where I came across a meteorite and a giant cauliflower. I had a look inside my newly refurbished shed the next day. It's basically a second greenhouse and cellar. Yep, I can put casks in here, which is super nice. When visiting Ridgeside, I bumped into Maeve, and I'm shocked to say this, but I actually had a really pleasant conversation with her. She used to be close friends with my grandparents, like every second person it seems, and that she's proud of my accomplishments at Moonlight Farm. I was up here to gather the final 2 blessed artifacts for Ray, or at least that's what I wanted to do. The fox mask required me to stand in front of this altar for 2 in-game hours, so that was rather easy. However, the other one, not so much. As you can see from this drawing, I need to pour water over this statue, and I thought it was the one that is right outside the ninja house, but it's not. Turns out there is a second one of these, which is located in a building I haven't even entered before. There is in fact a second greenhouse located on the hike trail, which you might have noticed already from previous foraging runs I did. A while ago I had a cutscene with Bliss, which I didn't bother showing because I didn't think it was important, where she told me to come visit the building after midnight, which I of course immediately forgot about, and yeah, the statue I need to water is located in there. To kill time, I was busy in the community greenhouse. Now that I finally have batteries to spare, I crafted iridium sprinklers, which I swapped out with the regular ones. After midnight I returned to the hike trail and I could enter the building now. Inside I heard a strange voice talking to me, telling me to stay and that it doesn't want to be alone. Then I felt drowsy and suddenly got transported back home. That's not worrying at all. The Fixoil pond was so worth it, by the way. I collected another 4 batteries today. Fish ponds truly are underrated. At the special order board I accepted Susan's homemade fertilizer request, went back to the hike trail where Bliss was waiting for me. She told me that the structure is cursed, trapped between the spirit realm and real world, and there's a lone entity residing inside it. That's really cool and all, but really I'm just interested in the statue inside. Then she said to come back after midnight again. Since I didn't know what else to do, I fished by the river to get started on Susan's request, as I need quite a lot of fish for the quality fertilizer. Also I planted more ancient seed in the community greenhouse. It's coming along very nicely. And once again, after midnight I was back at the hike trail. The voice told me that a man and lady trapped them inside this building because of a challenge they couldn't complete, and that maybe I could help them out if I were to finish the request. This updated my journal with a new quest, but again, I really didn't care about this at the moment. I was just here for the artifact. Wednesday was the flower dance. I bought the rare crow and tapu flower crafting recipe, along with some new decorations from Pierre's. This time I asked Ian to be my dance partner. Well, actually I wanted to ask Gio, but he refused to talk with me. Also, I love how the bird is in every single cutscenes. It just makes them so much better. On day number 137, I handed the raccoon the carrot juice and pickled cauliflower, completing another request for him. The bookseller was back in town that day, and as you can see, he had new wares in stock. This is thanks to Button's extra books, which adds 15 brand new books to the game. I bought The Way of the Wind Part 2 and Beginner's Luck, which permanently increases my luck stat by a tiny amount. I dropped off the 50 homemade fertilizer at Susan's house and then made my way to the Ridge Falls. I was here to put the blessed artifacts on the pedestals. Upon placing the last one, Ray, Belinda and the other members appeared before me. They thanked me for my efforts, and shortly after, Belinda and Ray opened the portal to the spirit realm. The portal was so powerful that it glitched out the artifacts and duplicated them. Now that the portal is open, it is up to me to cleanse the realm. Ray explained to me that it can be tricky to navigate inside and there are various crystals that can teleport me to different locations. My job is to extinguish 5 purple flames in order to cleanse the corruption and of course to stay alive, as there's going to be tons of enemies in there as well. After the cutscene ended, I quickly had to rush back home because I forgot to bring food with me. But now it is finally time to enter the spirit realm. This was incredibly stressful. There was absolutely no time to stop and marvel at the scenery, as I got immediately swarmed by Gabriella's minions. Not only are there so many monsters in here, but navigating the teleporters was trickier than I remember. I did manage to find 4 out of the 5 purple flames, but I did have to return after finding the 4th one, as I got debuffed by a ghost and I had almost no food left. Yeah, I know, a bit anticlimactic. But I did go straight back to the spirit world the very next morning, found the last purple flame, and with that, cleansed the realm that has been corrupted for so many years. Everyone was already waiting for me back in the real world and congratulated me on cleansing the spirit realm. There was some sort of earthquake, and Ray mentioned that the summit finally showed itself after all this time. There's even a farm up there, which I am very excited to check out later. Much later. So why did I rush to finish this questline so quickly? Well, because of Geo and Daya. Mainly for Geo, I don't really care for Daya. These two are special NPCs that are tied to Belinda's questline, and can only be romanced after getting rid of the corruption, and as per usual when I do a 100 days series, I had a poll up on my channel asking you guys who I should romance. And to my absolute surprise, you guys voted for Geo. He's one of my favorite characters anyways, but I was definitely surprised about the poll. On Saturday I harvested my ancient fruit, commissioned a second coop upgrade from Robin, then started on Mr. Cheese quest, which I totally forgot about up until this point. By putting a battery inside the box in the tunnel, bought 10 beets from Sandy's, is what I would have said if she was actually working here, so never mind that. When visiting the train station, I came across Susan, who thanked me for all of the fertilizer I brought to her the other day. For that she showed me a new fermentation method, which makes beer, mead and pale ale more valuable. I dropped off the rainbow shell, then was busy at the farm for the rest of the day. On the last day of spring, I had a giant cauliflower sprout on my field. That's definitely staying. This time Sandy was working, so I bought the beet seeds as well as some starfruit for summer. I relaxed at the Ridge Falls and did some fishing. I caught a bluegill, golden rosefin, fairytale lionfish and found my first golden animal cracker in a treasure chest. I went to bed shortly after and was pleased to see all the money I made from the truffles and ancient fruit wine that day. It is the very first day of summer and as per usual I was busy with setting up the field. This took the entire day because I also removed the old quality sprinklers and swapped them out with iridium ones. I planted a whole bunch of melons, butternut squash, blueberries, and I got reminded I should really upgrade my watering can again. Tuesday to Wednesday was spent entirely in the regular mines, gathering copper and iron ore. This allowed me to craft another 50 kegs. I also finally had enough solar essence to make a second iridium band, and lastly crafted 30 casks for the basement. It's almost completely full now. I visited Clint, where I commissioned an iridium watering can, opened the geodes and mystery boxes I've been hoarding so far, which gave me a few new items to donate. The mineral section is looking pretty good so far, but the artifacts on the other hand, not so much. Still missing quite a few of those. I moved the fish ponds next to the tree farm area and while at the carpenter requested another pond construction. The green rain poured down at the valley on day 145. The raccoon had his 5th request ready this time and he wants... a rusty spoon? Really? Same as last year, the day was spent clearing out the cindersap forest for moss, wood and lots of fiber. In town I accepted Clint's cave patrol quest, and I gotta say, Pelican Town is looking wild during the Green Rain event. It looks like a completely different place. And before heading back home, I caught the crimson fish down by the beach. The next day started off with a glorious ancient fruit harvest in the greenhouse. Have I ever mentioned how satisfying it is to use the iridium scythe? Because it sure is. I handed Martin a birthday present and then checked my chests for the requested items the raccoon wanted. And surprisingly, I did have a spare rusty spoon laying around. Good thing I'm a hoarder in this game. I dropped off the items, and for that, he gifted me a jungle tank. How am I even holding this thing? I was back in the mines that day, but not for too long, as I was just here to slay 50 dust sprites for Clint's special order. Later I stopped by the community greenhouse where I harvested the beets, which I dropped off at Louis' fridge the following morning. The last step from Mr. Cheese quest was to feed the sand dragon 1 solar essence, and with that, acquired the club card. Now I was allowed to enter the casino, and it was a good luck day anyways, so the perfect time to come here. And lucky I was. I hit the jackpot at the slot machine where I got 3 star drops, earning me a ridiculous amount of Chi coins. I got the statue of treasure and the rare crow from the shop, and that's about it. I don't plan on making another hatchet, at least not right now. Day 148 I received the deluxe eagle scarecrow crafting recipe, meaning that I have collected all 8 rare crows. I prepped for a skull cavern run, and while waiting for Pam to arrive, I quickly stopped by the ninja house to give Gio a present and saw my first heart event with him. Despite me helping them restore the spirit realm, I don't know why I say helping, I did all of that alone, he still doesn't trust me. I am just a stranger who appeared in the valley at a very convenient time. fair enough, I guess. I dropped off the gift and went to the desert. On floor 32, a dinosaur dropped a frog egg, and it's a void one as well. Pretty good find, though I need all of the monster loot myself at the moment, so I won't be using it. And 5 floors later, I got the infamous lucky ring from a random crate. I cannot even remotely describe to you how happy I was in that very moment. Holy moly, what a find. And it gets even better. I reached my 4th mastery level a few hours later, and I made it all the way down to floor 100, just in time. Mr. Chi was already waiting for me together with his pet snakes. He congratulated me on making it down here, and I was very proud of me myself, as I think I only used a total of 6 staircases. That's a new personal record for sure. I drank the iridium snake milk, which permanently increases my health, and then quickly teleported back home, where I made it to bed before passing out. The next morning I crafted the Statue of Blessing, unlocked the Mining Mastery, then rode to the Joja Mart where I had a look at the bookseller, and I am very happy to say he finally had the Book of Stars in store. At last I can finish the community center. I immediately headed over to the building and donated it to the Enchanter's Bundle. The Junimos said their goodbyes and returned to the Spirit Realm. Now we can start on the boat repairs for Ginger Island. After that I picked up my new watering can from Clint, accepted the biome balance request from Demetrius, and lastly I crafted the statue of the Dwarf King for those sweet mining related buffs I can get each day. Upon walking into town the following morning, I saw that everyone gathered at the restored community center and celebrated. I played through this game so many times by now, but I will never get tired of seeing this cutscene. Pierre and Morris had their standoff, and this time I said, let's settle this the old-fashioned way. And they actually had a brawl. Is this also new, or one of the mods doing, because I have no idea. Morris got sent into space, and with that, the Joja Mart is now closed. Guess I'll have to buy my seeds from Pierce going forward. After the celebration, I came across the wizard near the railroad track. He told me about his ex-wife, and that she stole his magic ink, which he desperately needs back. I don't think I need to show all of this, so right after I visited Krobus, where I got the Dark Talisman from the sewers, and while there, caught a Snatcher Worm, Water Grub, and Slimejack. Went back to the railroad, and when entering the lair, I got teleported to a whole new swamp area which I've never seen before. There were lots of new forage and enemies around. I was struggling for quite a bit navigating through the maze, but eventually I found the witch's hut. I gave the henchman the void mail, which allowed me to enter the building, and retrieved the magic ink. Magnus thanked me for my efforts, and now I have access to the obelisks, Junimo huts, and of course the ever so expensive golden clock. Day 151 I got a whole bunch of new cooking recipes in the mail, but also a letter from the henchman. Because I took the magic ink yesterday, he lost his job and is now homeless. I have to help him out, or else... what? I have no intentions of going back to that area anytime soon, so I guess he'll have to wait. I made my way into town, where I came across Claire. Now that the community center is restored, the Joja Mart has shut down, but no one told her about that. I forgot you need to have at least 6 hearts with her before finishing the community center, otherwise she will leave, so... oops. Today was the Luau festival, and I did think about skipping the event, but the friendship points you get are way too good, and this is gonna save me some time later on when befriending everyone. The next day I visited Willie's shop, where he showed me his dad's old fishing boat. I already had all the materials for the repairs, 5 batteries, 5 iridium bars, and 200 pieces of hardwood. I am eager to finally explore Ginger Island. Most of the day was spent fishing in Pelican Town for Demetrius' biome balance quest, which I finished in the late afternoon. Then put 1 iridium sprinkler inside Grandpa's shed and planted 5 sweet gemberries and 1 ancient fiber seed. After going to bed, I saw that the Joja Mart got struck by lightning, meaning that I can already start on a missing bundle. The raccoon had a new request for me on 153, and I won't be mentioning these anymore unless I get a really good report from him. Over at the carpenter, I commissioned a deluxe coop upgrade and purchased the greenhouse furniture catalog. I think out of the 3 furniture mods I have installed, this one might be my favorite one. Very happy with the results. Before heading to bed, I checked out the missing bundle, and thankfully this one was unchanged. I saw Robin and Willie repairing the old boat, don't know why this cutscene didn't trigger yesterday, and of course immediately went to Willie the next day and departed on my first of many trips to Ginger Island, getting the Distant Shore achievement. Inside the thick jungle, I met a strange little boy who seemed to be communicating in sort of a bird language. I do not speak bird, though I wish I could. And now it is time to collect golden walnuts. Cue the montage. On the west side of the island, I came across Birdie, who told me about her late husband and that she's looking for his keepsake. She handed me an old photo of him, and with that started the Pirate's Wife quest. I did manage to collect just enough walnuts to be able to construct the island farmhouse. I teleported back to the valley on Monday, where I was pleased to see a giant melon on my farm. I'm getting really lucky with the giant crops. The day was spent on the island farm, clearing out debris and planting more ancient fruit. Unfortunately, I wasn't really paying attention when laying out the new field. I was under the impression that I was still in a greenhouse, so I put down the Deluxe Speed Grow fertilizer on the entire field, even though I only had a bit over 50 ancient fruit seeds to plant, so that was a bit of a waste. Day 156, I completed the missing bundle. Now the last Junimo can also go back home, just like his friends did before. I opened a few treasure troves at the blacksmith, which gave me the treasure appraisal guide and also new artifacts to donate. While strolling around in the Cinesub forest, I came across Krobus with a little Junimo. I wanted to follow them deeper inside the woods, but got lost. Way to go me. I've been running all over town today to finish Birdie's request. Willy gave me the final item, the pirate's locker, which I handed over to Birdie. As a way of saying thanks, she showed me how to create fairy dust. Not so exciting, but she also gave me 5 golden walnuts. I still had a bit of time left that day, so I ventured into the volcano. I did find a couple of more walnuts while there and made it to the top, where I saw a new face. This is Lance, a member of the First Slash Guild. Initially I wanted to romance him, but you meet him so incredibly late into the game, and he's also kinda tricky to befriend. My reward for reaching the top is the beautiful volcano forge, where I combined my lucky ring with the iridium band. I had Lance visiting my farm on 157, by the way, second giant melon, let's go. He was just here to drop off his schedule, which might sound a bit weird at first, but he's in a different location every single day, and this is gonna be very handy since, again, I need to befriend every single person sooner or later anyways. The wizard also showed up. He let me know that a high-ranking council member took interest in developing my arcane potential and that he's been tasked with teaching me warp magic. Sounds intriguing. I went to his tower right after that, where he brewed a new potion for me. This will allow me to cast warp spells. Now I just need to have a suitable place where I can summon these ruins. We met again north of Moonlight Farm, where Magnus showed me my very own Nexus. I think this might be a Demon Souls reference. Probably not, but I'd like to think it is. Here I can summon warp runes that teleport to different locations, and the first one I created led to the wizard tower. Basically, it's more fast travel points. At this tree in the center will sometimes spawn dewdrop berries, a new forage which are insanely OP. They last an entire day, so I should definitely come here more often. In town I checked out the newly constructed movie theater and bought 2 tickets and invited Gio to see Journey of the Prairie King with me. Also Claire and Martin are back now, working at the counter inside, which they very much enjoy. I grabbed the panzanella salad for Gio and we had a good time together, slowly but steadily getting the friendship points up with him. After the cinema I went back to Ginger Island, where I constructed the bridge that leads to the dig site and freed Professor Snail from the cave with a well-placed bomb. I visited his field office and shocker, it was completely empty. My guy has been on this island for several years and you haven't even found anything so far? Absolutely nothing? You and Gunter have a lot in common. Luckily for him, I already had 2 items to donate, which I acquired while being here for just a few hours. Thursday I was back in the volcano, looking for fossils, walnuts, and cinder shards. In the evening I panned and fished at the river near the dig site, where I found the fossilized tail and spine. Upon teleporting back home, I created my second warp point on the farm. 159, I bought my first Junimo hut from the wizard and then spent the majority of my time working on the field area right in front of the house. It's been bothering me for quite a while now. I crafted 5 heavy furnaces and I think it looks a lot better now. I created a warp point next to the Adventure Guild and while there had a chat with Marlon where we talked about lands. He has an outpost located in the highlands north from here and Marlon has a smaller boat docked outside that could bring me there. He gave me permission to use his boat, but first I have to do something for him. Marlon wants a bunch of random monster parts, which is easy enough. However, I am in no hurry to explore this area just yet. The following 2 days were spent in the Skull Cavern. I was mostly here for Iridium ore, but also to work on a few Monster Slayer goals. I found a second lucky ring, again in a random crate. Holy moly, this is huge. Finished a Slayer goal for mummies and slimes. Found a propeller hat, which I gave to Emma, cuteness overload. I picked up the slime charmer ring and arcane hat from Jill, and with that, created a new outfit. I was in a witchy mood this time. To match my new look, I also changed the skin of my birdie. Now, I am the Witch of the Valley. Monday morning I purchased the big stone chest recipe from the dwarf and then hung around the community center for a little while because it was community day. I'm not quite sure what this event was about. I guess it's just a day where everyone from Pelican Town spends time here, which is very handy for giving out gifts. After that I was in the Cindersap forest cutting down trees, and with that made another 40 casks. The cellar was completely full at this point, so I started to fill in Grandpa's shed as well. Day 163 I purchased the Rattan furniture catalog from Robin and decorated the island farmhouse, because I felt like it and I didn't know what else to do for the day. I think I actually like this one more than the greenhouse catalog. Once I was done with the house, I did a few random chores around the island in hopes of getting more walnuts, but instead I found a second snake vertebra, which I donated along with the snake skull, completing another fossil and earning me 3 walnuts and a mango sapling. I harvested my ancient fruit in the community greenhouse and while doing that, reached my final mastery level. After that I went over to Pierce to purchase fruit saplings which got planted on the island farm. I showed the gourmet frog the melon, wheat and garlic, and for that he gave me 15 golden walnuts, and with those unlocked the island resort. Lastly I enchanted the Iridium band with my second lucky ring. Feels good to have my old ring combo back. It was raining the next day on Ginger Island, so I headed out in search for a gem bird. I found him located in the jungle and put the topaz on the pedestal. When I warped back to the valley, I had Lewis waiting for me. He pointed out that I've been producing lots of wine over the past few seasons and that I should consider building a winery. Excuse me? I've never heard about this before. This piqued my interest, so I headed straight over to Robin's and indeed, she had a new blueprint in stock. For a meager 1 million gold. Sure is expensive, but wine ages 15% faster is pretty good. I'll keep that in mind for sure. At the bookseller I bought Friendship 2.2 and Bus Driving for Dummies. With that I can now drive myself to the desert, meaning that I don't have to wait for Pam anymore. I spent the remaining day on the island farm where I harvested my starfruit and planted more ancient seeds. On Friday it was raining again, for like the 6th day in a row by the way. I purchased Mother Luke's Speed Crow at heaps and then I was back in the Cindersap forest gathering wood. And yes, I changed my outfit. Again. I don't know why I'm so indecisive this time, but remember the fashion hat I made a while ago? I really wanted to try and make an outfit for that and I wasn't really feeling the witchy style anyways. It didn't suit me at all. After playing around for a while with the sewing machine, I came up with a new look and now I'm finally satisfied. Also, I unlocked the fishing mastery. I almost forgot about that. Completing the mastery cave. While running around in the forest, I came across a warp rune and upon activating it, I found myself in a brand new forest area. To the left side was a Junimo plaque that read, "Follow the mushrooms." It's another maze, my favorite. The forest was gigantic and I was struggling to navigate through it for quite a bit. I came across a gravestone that had Elvish language written upon it, which I think is a Lord of the Rings reference, ? I was here for a very long time, but eventually I made it to a little Junimo village. All the huts had different items to sell, where I bought a bunch of artifacts that I haven't been able to find myself, One even sells legendary fish and stuff you unlock from the walnut room. Pretty crazy. It was already late when I came here, so I had to return shortly after and made it back home to avoid passing out. Waking up the following day, I found myself glitching through the fence near Aurora Vineyard, and that I sensed something west of the Cindersap forest. Do I? Now that it is finally not raining anymore, the Junimos were able to work, and I just love watching them do their thing. Keep up the good work, guys. Because I had this strange vision before, I went back to the Aurora Vineyard, where I found another Junipo plaque on the floor. The symbols look vaguely like the language of the Junimos, yet I couldn't make out what it said. I was hoping that the wizard might help me with the translation, so I headed over to his tower. He did his usual wizard things, but unfortunately he was unable to decipher the language. We need a real expert for this. Magnus contacted one of his good friends, with his mind, I guess, and shortly after another wizard arrived. This is where we get introduced to Camilla, a witch from Castle Village. She was able to understand the scroll and translated it for us. A Junimo has taken up residence in the abandoned vineyard and they request 200 starfruits. In this economy? That's outrageous. Camilla left shortly after and Magnus wondered if this is related to my deeds in the community center. I wanted to buy the starfruit seeds from Sandy, but she wasn't working. That didn't annoy me at all. Now that I have the beach resort unlocked, I can venture to the southeast side of the island, where I picked up a few easy walnuts. I caught a stingray inside the pirate cove and then checked out how many walnuts I'm missing to be able to enter the walnut room. And it's actually less I thought than it would be. I've been putting this off for long enough, but in an attempt to gather even more walnuts, I tried my luck with the stupid crystal puzzle. I don't know why, but I struggle with this so much every single time. I kept failing over and over. It's really painful to watch this back, but I kept trying, and eventually I did it. Victory was mine, earning me another 3 walnuts. Sunday morning I had my final summer harvest for this year. I bought the starfruit seeds from Sandy and then ventured into the Skull Cave, where I hung around until the festival started. I completed another Monster Slayer goal while there, and later in the evening welcomed the Moonlight Jellies on the beach together with the rest of Pelican Town. My favorite season is here once again. I did end up removing the second melon from the field because I also want to try and grow a giant pumpkin. Of course I was busy with planting all the new seeds, you know how it goes, and before heading to bed I accepted Louis' crop order where I have to ship 100 pumpkins. Day 170 I gifted Zane a birthday present, and then I was in the volcano where I spent the majority of the day. I brought 10 diamonds with me, which I traded to the dwarf for the Diamond Hunter book, and acquired the well-read achievement for finding every book. The vanilla ones, that is. I'm still missing a few of the modded ones. And on Wednesday I was also in the volcano. Today was a bit more exciting as it was a good luck day, and lucky I was. I found an ostrich egg, which is very nice. Now I only need the incubator. I had 2 rare volcano chests on the same floor even. I didn't even know that was possible. I remembered to bring my prismatic shards with me, but not the cinder shards, unfortunately, so I was only able to enchant one of my tools, which was the pickaxe. It got the Swift enchantment, which is, yeah, kinda meh, but better than nothing. The next day was raining on the island. I found the second gem bird, and with that was already able to solve the gem bird puzzle, as well as the mermaid puzzle on the beach, which I definitely didn't look up online and figured out all by myself, of course, earning me another 5 walnuts. I used 10 of them to build the trading hut. I was kinda hoping he would have golden coconuts, since I haven't found a single one, but he didn't have any either. I thought I collected enough walnuts by now to enter Mr. Chi's secret room, but I was missing one single walnut. I did all sorts of island activities in hopes of getting one, and I did, later in the evening while fishing. I entered the secret room where I met Mr. Chi again and accepted the 4 precious stones quest. Friday morning I went grocery shopping with Gio, or rather for Gio, as he couldn't be bothered to talk with Pierre, which is understandable. I dropped off the monster loot for Marlon, 100 void essence, 80 solar essence, 50 slime, 40 bat wings, and 30 bug meat. I don't know why you would need all of that, but I also don't want to find out. Most of the fruit saplings have fully matured by now, so I started decorating the left side of the farm with paths and lampposts. Day 174, I met with Marlon next to the Adventure Guild, and together we departed on a boat trip to Lance's outpost. It was a very long ride across the river, but eventually we arrived at a brand new forest area. Up the staircase we found Lance, who was already expecting us. Inside the small tower, Lance informed us that he is here in order to conduct research on behalf of his master. The surrounding area is filled with special monsters, and some of them possess seeds with arcane energy. Lance didn't have any luck so far cultivating the monster crops, and that's why he asked us to hunt the different species down and try planting them back at home. I don't know why I say us, it's just for me. Marlon isn't gonna do anything. There are 4 different types of seeds that I can collect, and each of those grow in different seasons. Thank god I already have like 3 different greenhouses at this point. Initiating the monster crop questline. The highland area is kinda similar to the rich forest. Monsters will spawn constantly here, but I came prepared with lots of cheese in my pockets. Upon exploring the area, I came across a cave entrance. Inside I was met with even more enemies. Navigating through the cave further, I found a path that led to a hidden room where I saw a dwarf locked up in a cage. He talked about a terrible monster located on the peak of this mountain that guards the key to his cell along with many treasure it swallowed, and if it touches me, I'll be met with a horrible fate. Am I about to encounter Gore Magala on this mountain? It was already getting late at this point, so the monster will have to wait a bit, but I did manage to collect 1 of each of the 4 seasonal seeds already, which got planted inside Grandpa's shed. Now I just have to wait for them to mature. It was a very good luck day on 175. I took the opportunity to look for prismatic shards in the Skull Cavern. I found an auto grabber on a treasure floor, even made it to floor 100 again, and left the cave with a total of 5 prismatic shards. Safe to say this was the best run so far. I checked the Junimo hut the next day for the harvest they collected so far and found a book inside, the Junimo scrapbook. Now they have a chance of sending me letters, which is cute, but I'm pretty sure this is a bit buggy because that never happened. I waited very patiently for Robin to open, where once inside, commissioned the winery. This better be the most amazing building I've ever had because I spent almost all of my savings on this. The building is gigantic, it's even bigger than Grandpa's shed, so I didn't know at first where to place it, so for now I put it next to the river. Also I saw that I had a meteor land on the farm. At the bookseller I purchased the Queen of Sauce cookbook and any remaining modded books I haven't collected so far. One of which was The Strongest Brew, which increases my coffee duration. Very handy. I was watching another movie with Gio that day, though I was mainly here for the crane game as I didn't get to use it last time. This bumped me up to 8 hearts with him. After that I gifted him with a bouquet, which he gladly accepted. We're getting serious now. In the late afternoon I made a quick trip over to the island to drop off the prismatic shards, earning me my first 40 G-gems. With that, purchased the key of the town as well as G's notebook. This will help me find random G-gems on my adventures. And while there, already accepted another task, the Danger in the Deep quest, because to this day I refuse to play Junimo card. Seriously, who even likes this? Tuesday morning I crafted a tapper for the one mystery tree I planted a while ago, went back to the Junimo woods where I got acquainted with Peaches, who gifted me an ancient Junimo scroll. With that created a new warp point. Now I don't have to go through that awful maze anymore. Then ventured into the dangerous mine to get started on that quest. I found my first radioactive ore and made it to floor 50. And on Wednesday I did the same thing. Don't really have much to say about the dangerous mines. Despite having dangerous in its name, the only real danger here are the ghosts with their debuffs. Other than that, this is very tame compared to the other expanded area we haven't even explored yet. Before midnight I made it all the way down to the final level, earning me the Danger in the Deep achievement. Day 179 I purchased another batch of pumpkin seeds from Pierre's. Made a detour to Ginger Island where I got the horse flute from the walnut shop. I really missed having Roach around the island. Hands down, one of the best items you can get. While chopping trees later in the Cindersap forest, I visited Sprite Springs for the first time and created another warp rune. Here I can regain stamina in the water, similar to the bathhouse, find different types of forage and even new fish, like this glowfish and meteor carp. Later in town I accepted Olivia's elegant reception as well as the hotel power backup request from Richard. The following morning I collected my first aged starfruit and ancient fruit wine, bought the Jojo catalog from the traveling cart, and after that I brought over the items for Olivia's order. This was rather easy as I just had the required materials laying around. 20 bottles of wine, 10 goat cheese, and regular cheese. Easy squeezy. Stopped by Krobus for the wizard catalog, and since it was raining, I wanted to buy the mermaid pendant from the old marina, but he told me that I wasn't ready for it yet. Now that's just rude. I was working around the pond area for a little while, which I've definitely been neglecting, and after heading to bed, I heard the sweet sound of money pouring into my account, thanks to the aged wine I sold. Saturday was spent on Ginger Island, cutting weeds in the jungle area where I found the fossilized frog and running through the volcano levels to work on Monster Slayer goals, but also to find cinder shards and walnuts. I enchanted the hoe, which got the archaeologist perk, and the axe. Same as the pickaxe, it now has the swift enchantment, which I'm really starting to enjoy more and more, so I might just leave it on after all. I got my hands on 2 golden coconuts today. Finally, was about time. I cracked those open at Clint's, went to the island trader where I traded in 60 coconuts for another 6 golden ones. Rushed back to Clint's where I opened them and got a banana sapling and fossilized skull. Just what I was looking for. I maxed out my friendship level with Geo. Now the marina has to sell the damn pendant to me. I didn't really have anything else to do, so I went back to Clint, a 3rd time, and opened all of the Omni Geodes I've been holding on for now in hopes of getting the last 2 minerals for the museum. I really wish there was a process all tab, like in Coral Island, that just instantly opens all of your geodes, because my god, this takes forever. After opening over 80 Omni Geodes, I did get the missing minerals. Now I only need to work on the artifacts. It was a very exciting day on 183 because Robin was finally done with the winery construction. Yes, this took a whole week. Since the expanded mod got updated so recently, there are currently no Recolor mods for these newer buildings, at least as far as I'm concerned. So it looks a bit out of place at the moment, but it's still a beautiful building nonetheless. Also, giant pumpkin on the field, let's go dude. I spent almost all of my wood to build 40 casks for the winery, went back to Robin where I moved the shed, harvested the starfruit and dropped off 200 of those at the Aurora vineyard. Then just spent the day on the farm, working on another sprinkler layout and also built a second Junimo hut. Tuesday was the StardewValley fair, and I'm not gonna lie, I was not exactly thrilled about it. But I wanted to get the remaining items from the festival stall, and there was even a new recipe that I could get. This time I brought the correct amount of items for the Grange display, and I won first prize again. We meet again, spinning wheel. Now I have to make a formal apology. So I read up on the spinner, and it turns out that none of the mods change anything about the minigames at the fair. At least I couldn't find anything. Which makes sense, because now I won like 8 times in a row. So I must have gotten extremely unlucky when I played last year. I mean really, I thought I was losing my mind. I'm sorry I cursed at you before. I will never doubt you again. Promise. From the festival stall I got the prismatic pop recipe. That sounds delicious by the way. And after gambling a bit more, also this new furniture catalog, which I am very excited to test out later. Next morning I accepted Caroline's Island ingredient quest, where she wants 100 taro root. I don't think that I can do this within the remaining time frame, but I have to try. Now that I have max hearts with Geo, the marina sold the mermaid pendant to me. Then I had a look inside Aurora Vineyard again, where I encountered a green Junimo. This is Apples. He was the one who requested 200 starfruits from me. Why doesn't he live together with the other Junimos in the village? I have no idea, but he seems to really like this place, so I guess he'll be hanging around for a while. Starting from tomorrow I can actually talk and even befriend Apples. I was kinda excited about this because on my previous modded run I went with the Joja route. Yeah, sue me. And if you help the Joja Mart instead of the community center, you actually never get to meet Apples, so I was looking forward to his cutscenes. I checked how many taro seeds I've collected so far over at the island chests. Unfortunately, it was way too little, so I won't be able to finish Caroline's quest this time. While in the area, I took on Cheese Hungry Challenge, where I have to make it to floor 100 in the Skull Cavern without eating anything. Mined all the bone notes that were at the quarry, where I found the fossilized ribs, and together with the skull, completed the final set for Professor Snail. He was ecstatic about all the new collections, and as a thanks, he showed me how to craft an ostrich incubator, gifted me another banana sapling and more walnuts. The walnuts were spent to unlock the Parrot Express, then went back home to plant more pumpkin seeds, and lastly crafted 35 cakes for the shed. On Thursday I stopped by the ninja house and proposed to Gio. Okay, now we're getting serious. I spent the whole day inside the Skull Cavern for the Hungry Challenge. This was incredibly easy thanks to the staircases I've been saving for this occasion, making it again to floor 100. I found a dark carbo hat from a treasure chest, very fancy, which I swapped out with the pink variant the next day, even fancier. Also I saw the bear while walking to Hatmouse, who was on his way out of Marnie's ranch. What's even weirder is that he talked about me getting a premium barn and that his friends could help me out on the farm? What? I have so many questions. Can I have a bear on my farm? And like, are you selling your friends to Marnie's? I'm very confused. I guess now I have to build a premium barn. At the Ridgeside special board I accepted the charity wishlist, again. Spoilers, I wasn't able to finish it, again. Thankfully there is no penalty for not finishing requests, so it doesn't really matter. I had brunch at the Amathon house where I met more of the family members. Althea, who is Arya's mom and also Maeve's daughter, Zachary, the second child of Maeve, father to Louis, Zane, Lorraine, and Nadaline. Are you keeping up with the lore? These are thankfully non-befriendable characters, they were just here for a visit. I already have enough people to take care of. After that I went back to Apples, where he gifted me an old bottle of Aurora Vineyard wine, which I used to create a new warp point. I contracted a second shed from the carpenter and crafted that ostrich incubator. Placed it inside the barn, along with the ostrich egg. 188, I got kidnapped by Camilla, who teleported me to my own nexus. She said there is important business we have to discuss, and together we warped even further to a brand new area, the Crimson Badlands. A place where it's scorching hot by day and nights as cold as ice. Fancy way of describing a desert. Home to even more powerful and ancient monsters. I sure didn't miss this place. Camilla handed me a swirl stone and with that created another warp portal, which I think is the final one for the Nexus, but I'm not sure. I had absolutely no intentions of exploring this area just yet, that's something for later. I wanted to upgrade my trash can at the blacksmith, but it was the Ridgeside gathering, meaning that all the shops were closed. Might as well check out the festival then. I'm glad I came, as one of the stalls had a very cheap magic rock candy, mango sapling, and banana sapling. Sunday was our wedding day. I wish we had different wedding locations for Ridgeside. I think it's a bit odd that we're in Pelican Town, but nonetheless, it was a beautiful ceremony. Also for the first time, I remember to craft the bridal outfit. Can you tell I'm into tailoring? Such an underrated mechanic. Now unfortunately, I forgot that you can book a wedding reception over at the Log Cabin Hotel. I only realized that after recording this session. It's nothing crazy, but you do get to see another cutscene on your wedding day, so if you're currently playing modded as well with the Ridgeside expansion, remember to talk to Naomi before the wedding day. Just thought I'd mention that. A good chunk of the day was spent fishing, something I haven't done in quite a while. At the town river I caught the angler, over at Shearwater Bridge a wolf snapper, one of the new legendary additions, a pufferfish, and lastly a kittyfish. Monday morning I went to visit the henchman in the Witch's Swamp. As mentioned in the letter, he lost his job and is now sleeping in the dirt. I didn't know that goblins had such high standards. Since it's my fault that he lost his job, I do kinda owe him. Don't know what happened to his house, but in order to restore it, he needs a bunch of different mushrooms and swamp flowers. This seemed easy enough, and since I was curious what would happen next, I made that my task for the day. After a few in-game hours of gathering, I had everything I needed. 50 swamp flowers and a dozen of the different mushroom types. The henchman was waiting outside my house the next day, where he thanked me for fixing up his home, and told me to stop by from time to time. He is indeed a giftable NPC now. Interesting. I caught Robin on her way to aerobics class and commissioned a big shed upgrade. Back I was on beautiful Ginger Island later, where I accepted the Skull Cavern invasion from Chi. Then I was busy with fishing. Today's haul included a clownfish, bear knifejaw, ocean sunfish, seahorse, a baby Lunaloo, and a shiny Lunaloo. Slowly filling in the fishing collection. Day number 192, I had 1 million gold casually sitting in my pockets, but not for long, as I constructed my very first obelisk that day, the one for the desert. Sadly, there aren't that many obelisk reskin mods available on Nexus, even less that include the one for Ridgeside, so for the sake of having the same skin on all of the different obelisks, I opted for Jenna's Tiny Totem obelisks, since this is the only mod that I could find that includes all of the expansion packs and is up to date for 1.6. The day was spent at the highland area. Not so much for the enemies, but for fishing and chopping hardwood. I made my way up to the mountain where I found a hidden cave behind a giant rock. Inside was tons of diamonds, diamond flowers, and fished up a diamond carp at the pond. My inventory was completely full after that, so I headed back home and before going to bed, crafted another 50 casks for the winery. Thursday morning I was prepping for a Skull Cavern run. I didn't take any ladders with me this time, yet somehow made it to floor 100 again, finishing Cheese Quest. Okay, I might have crafted one staircase for a spiral floor, but that's about it. I found a ridiculous amount of Chi gems while there, almost more than I got from the quest. And with those, acquired PS Missing stock list and a Galaxy Soul. And can we just talk about the fact that I have 7 giant pumpkins on the farm now? They're taking over soon. I was back in the Highlands on 195 to face the beast that resides on the mountain. I made my way through the hordes of enemies that spawned on my way when I finally reached the top of the mountain and found a money bag tree? What is this, Animal Crossing? The beast was already waiting for me and so the battle begun. It doesn't look much different from a regular dinosaur, but it deals a ridiculous amount of damage. Me being the noob that I am, I wasn't paying any attention to my health and passed out halfway through the fight. I mean, it was a tactical retreat of course, to get more healing potions. I rushed back to the mountain, where I got my sweet revenge. Now that the monster was slain, I was able to free the dwarf from the cage, and he was happy to finally leave this awful cave. The last day of fall was spent on the farm. My ostrich egg was ready to hatch, and I named him Egon. Constructed a third Junimo hut and then just stared at the winery for a good while. The season rolled around overnight, winter was here once more. I visited Krobus and handed him a void egg for his birthday, maxing out another friendship. For some reason he had the trash catalog for sale, don't mind if I do, as well as a new cooking recipe. At the special order board I accepted Sophia's fairy garden request, then planted the few powder melon seeds I had on the farm. I'm hoping to get another giant fruit to complete my army. I already had the fairy stones saved up in one of my chests as I knew this quest was coming sooner or later. I bought the fairy seeds from Piers and dropped everything off at her farmhouse, completing the request the very same day. While there, Sophia told me about the latest batch of wine she was checking, and this was actually the last work of her parents. Turns out that Sophia's parents were involved in a terrible car accident and they both lost their lives that day. The room I found her in last time is her parents' old bedroom, but she hasn't had the strength to move out their belongings ever since they passed away, which is understandable. She took over the vineyard after the accident, since that's the only thing she has left of them. She asked if I was willing to help her restore the room, and of course I said yes. I was to come back tomorrow again, and spoilers, I immediately forgot about this cutscene, but don't worry, I'll remember eventually. Instead I visited Apples the next morning. He's been decorating the vineyard and made some new plant friends. Literally. He gifted me a few starfruit and introduced me to his new companions. We have Holly, Fig, Donna, and my favorite one is Goofy. I made my way to the Crimson Badlands where I found a treasure chest next to the outpost that had a shop schedule inside. Interesting. Near the entrance of the desert I met Alicia and Isaac. Both are members of the Adventure Guild located in Castle Village. They warned me about the dangers that await me in the Badlands, and Isaac even said that it's okay to swallow my pride and run away. Don't worry, I will. I was just here to take a peek to see what it's like, since I have almost no memory of this place. Saying there are a lot of monsters in the Badlands would be an understatement. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the area with the toughest enemies. I did manage to collect a few new items, like Void Souls and Void Pebbles for the shipping collection, but I wasn't even here for more than 5 minutes because, once again, I passed out. Jesus Christ, I am bad at this game. You know, when I say stuff like skill issue, I'm usually joking, but I'm starting to think that I do in fact have a skill issue. I got bodied by a tiny scorpion. What's wrong with me? To take my mind off this embarrassment, I relaxed at the island farm, expanded the sprinkler layout, and accepted the 4 precious stones quest once more. On Wednesday I crafted 3 treasure totems, which I used at the mountain area in hopes of obtaining some of the artifacts that I was still missing, but I didn't get any of those. Might have also been a bad idea to do this in winter, since some of the dig spots were just forage. However, I did manage to find both of the missing dolls, thanks to the secret notes that I had. The 2 items that are missing now also have a chance of being dropped from bone nodes, so I went over to the dig site on the island. Alas, I found neither of those. All 4 of the seasonal monster fruit were ready to harvest that day, which I dropped off to Lance later in the afternoon. Day 200 is upon us and I downloaded a new mod, another bag upgrade available at Piers. For 50,000 gold, I now have 48 inventory slots. Definitely should have installed this sooner, as this is gonna make cave diving so much more comfortable, which is what I did today. Since I need to get another 4 prismatic shards, I was busy in the skull cavern. The following morning, Lance greeted me outside my house. He thanked me for the monster crops that I cultivated, and he finds them most fascinating. A reward will be waiting for me at the outpost when I visit next time. I sold another batch of iridium aged wine, then I was occupied in the skull cavern again, where I found another 2 prismatic shards. Dropped those off at the walnut room and purchased the Junimo chest from the shop. I was curious about the reward Lance mentioned, so I stopped by the outpost and I saw the dwarf that I freed from the cave a few days ago. He set up a smaller shop at the ravine where I can purchase new decorations for the house. Inside the outpost was a chest that contained a diamond wand. The description reads that it can teleport enemies away from me. I guess this could be useful in the Crimson Badlands, we'll just see. By now I had enough fire wax accumulated to construct a premium coop from Robin. I saw that this was not an upgrade of an already existing coop, but a whole new building entirely, so I had to move a few things around to make enough space for it. While there, purchased the furniture catalog and the painting catalog. Currently my house interior doesn't match with Gio's spouse room at all, meaning it is time to redecorate. In a few days. I forgot to buy the room expansions from Robin before constructing the coop. Day 203 to 205 were mostly spent in the kitchen working on different cooking recipes. Other noticeable things that happened during these days: I got the starter up from Gio, and more importantly found a giant powder melon outside on the field, just as planned. I know that you can also get a giant chi fruit with the latest update, but I never do that request from him, so my giant crop army is completed. I was in a fishing mood on Wednesday. At the desert pond I caught the sandfish and scorpion carp, went back to the swamp after that for a void eel, swamp crab and alligator, also said hello to the henchmen while there. Near Ridge Falls I fished up a lullaby carp, and finally a cardioceptal jellyfish in the Ridge Forest. And yes, monsters will still spawn in this area even while you're reeling in the fish, so that's incredibly fun. I purchased a Book of Carols from Marcelo the next day. This gives me a slight discount during winter while buying from any shop owners. Today I finally remembered to visit Sophia again. I was supposed to be here a week ago, but better late than never, I guess. As promised, I helped her unpack her parents' stuff and organize the old bedroom. As a thanks, she will send me a bottle of Blue Moon wine in the mail tomorrow. After that I visited the carpenter to buy the room expansions I was talking about, since Robin was finally done with the coop construction. I did also want to get the dining room expansion, but that wasn't possible with the kitchen mod that I had installed. The next 3 in-game days were spent decorating. It's one of my favorite things to do in Stardew, and now with the new furniture catalogs from 1.6 and all of the modded ones that I have installed, this took a ridiculous amount of time. Seriously, I think I was here for 3 hours. I didn't record the entire process because I simply don't have the space for that on my PC, so I'll come back to you once I'm done.
One eternity later.
Okay, and here we are on day 211. It was tricky at first to decide with what type of wood I want to work, since the Recolor mod also changes the furniture a bit, and not all of the furniture mods work well together. I turned this room into some sort of a work area, and I think it fits well with Gio's spouse room. As you can see, we have a lot of greenery going on in the house. Rule of thumb for decorating in Stardew is to put flowers and plants everywhere. It's gonna look good, trust me. Also, the furniture catalog I got from the Stardew Fair was so worth getting, as this contained bathroom furniture. I know, wild. The attic is still a bit of a work in progress, but all in all, I'm very pleased with how the house looks now. When walking outside later, I had Scarlett waiting for me. She let me know that she started working as a farmhand for the local farmers here, which I was kinda confused about because I haven't even officially met her yet, I think. I might have skipped a few cutscenes here and there, so I don't know, maybe I have met her. I harvested my ancient fruit in the community greenhouse and on the island farm. Once again I accepted Caroline's Tropical Island ingredient quest. Spoilers, I wasn't able to finish this again, because pineapple seeds need 14 days to grow, and that's exactly how many days I had left for that. To be prepared for the next quest, I planted the pineapple seeds that I had. Don't know why I didn't do that sooner. While at the farm, I found Lance patrolling the beach. He was impressed with my work on Ginger Island, helping the professor, repairing various structures, and of course building the beach resort. We talked about artifacts that are imbued with magic, and he showed me a blink relic, which lets me teleport while holding it. He also briefly mentioned Camilla and Castle Village, which really made me wonder if we ever get to explore Castle Village ourselves. Probably not in Vanilla Stardew, but hopefully in a new mod at some point. Now that I have the premium coop, Marnie had a new animal available, a goose. Say hello to Joel and Wilhelm. At the night market I got the retro catalog from the traveling merchant and more outside decorations. 212 was pretty uneventful. I picked up the iridium trash can from Clint, which I think is the very first time ever I fully upgraded a trash can. I never bothered to do that. And I commissioned the first upgrade for the pan. Spent some time decorating the island farm, stopped by the dig site to collect the bone notes that spawned here, and I was lucky enough to obtain the prehistoric skull, one of the 2 missing artifacts for the museum. I crafted 3 more treasure totems the next day, used them at the mountain area in hopes of getting the final artifact for the collection, but it wasn't happening. Again, maybe don't look for artifacts during winter. I've accumulated a total of 3 bananas by now, which I gifted to the monkey near Leo's hut in exchange for more walnuts. I don't know why I wrote down 3 bananas, as you can clearly see I only needed 1, but okay, Saf. Also, I was here to give Leo a present. I've been kinda ignoring him ever since I came to the island. After that I had a look at the perfection tracker to see how many walnuts I'm missing, and it's not that bad honestly. The overall perfection progress though, yeah, not even halfway there at this point. More decorating on the island farm, and in the evening I was back at the night market where I found the Junimo catalog at the merchant. The final furniture catalog I was after. With that finished decorating the attic the following morning. Upon checking my mailbox, I received a very interesting letter from the Curio Collectors Society of Ferngill, who wishes to formally recognize my outstanding collection of rare and unique home decor by extending an official membership. I thought at first this was something like the Happy Home Academy from Animal Crossing, where you actually get a rating for your house interior, but once I collected the membership, it said that there is now a new catalog available from Robin. Of course I had to check that out immediately, and there it is, the collector's catalog. I'm currently saving up for another obelisk, but this wasn't expensive at all, so I purchased it, and it seems like this is a collection of all of the different catalogs in the game. To me this is kinda useless, as I have the Home Designer mod installed, which makes decorating super easy anyways, but it's still nice to have. I spent some time in the regular mines working on a few Monster Slayer goals, when I remembered the cave in the highland area where I found the dwarf had lots of enemies in, which was just the ones I was looking for. So that's where I continued my slaughtering. After a little while I completed the Slayer goal for bats and shadow creatures. On Friday I visited the Crimson Badlands outpost. Isaac was here today, who had a smaller shop with a few interesting items, like the Tempered Galaxy Sword for a meager 500,000 gold. Now that's outrageous. It does do a little bit more damage than the regular Galaxy Sword I have, but yeah, that's not worth the money at the moment. I did buy 1 hero elixir from him, and I was kinda tempted to buy the Night Boots because of their great defense, but again I'm currently saving up for another project. I came prepared with 1 Marsh Tonic, a present from the henchman, which buffed my attack and defense greatly, and slowly made my way through the harsh desert environment. The main reason I came here today for was to fish. Yes, you heard that correctly. There's 2 new species I can catch at this smaller pond, and I have to rant for a little bit here. I absolutely despise these areas where you have to fish while getting swarmed by enemies. It is beyond irritating, and fishing is supposed to be relaxing after all. At least give me iframes while I'm reeling in the fish. That's all I want. Okay, rant over. Somehow I did manage to catch the undead fish, and thanks to the OP ice rod that I had on me, holding the serpent at bay, I also fished up the bonefish. Thank you very much, never again. I tried to summon Roach here since I thought it would be easier to navigate this massive area on horse, but you're not allowed to do that. This gave me flashbacks when the Elden Ring DLC released, coming to the Abyssal Woods for the first time and you had to traverse the entire area on foot because you couldn't summon Totoro because he was too afraid. No? Just me? Well, anyways, I ventured deeper into the Badlands, walking past massive bones and skeletal remains when I stumbled upon the Iridium Quarry, filled with even tankier enemies. Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna be on my way. Once my buffs ran out, I teleported back home. I am not messing around in this area. 216, I remembered that the wizard told me that I could back to Umui whenever I wanted to, so that's how I spend my day. Once there I saw Lunna with her little sister Diana. I guess this is how Lunna looked before she turned human. Speaking about humans, I met Raphael and Bianca, two wizards that have been trapped in Umui for a few years now. But like, guys, the portal is right here. I gathered all the new forage in the area, as well as the new fish, to fill up the collection tab. Bought new seeds and fruit saplings from this friendly shadow man. Now unfortunately for me, both Raphael and his sister Bianca and even Diana are all NPCs to befriend. Why? Just to clarify, I don't mind playing with 100 different NPCs, but when they get introduced so late into the game, I'm just not that invested anymore. I know in this case it's kind of my own fault as I could have visited Umui a lot sooner, but yeah, I wasn't too excited about this. Anyways, the new seeds were planted inside Grandpa's shed and the fruit saplings in the greenhouse next to the coffee plants. Sunday it is, you know what that means, trading my jade at the desert trader and also a few gold bars this time for golden carrot seeds. I finished another Skull Cavern invasion quest that day, which I accepted a while ago. Once again, this was no problem at all, thanks to the abundance of staircases I had with me, and it's really nice to be back in an area where enemies don't two-shot me. On 218 I had plans to build the island obelisks on my farm, but I completely missed that you need a total of 10 dragon teeth for that, and currently I only had like 2, so that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Instead I constructed the water obelisk. For the cheat gems I got yesterday, I unlocked the heavy tapper and hyper speed grow crafting recipe. I was in the volcano for most of the day looking for dragon teeth, though of course I had no luck with that. On the plus side, I bought the pink bow from the dwarf, which I gave to Roach, which is possibly the best decision I have made up until this point. It fits perfectly, and now we have matching outfits. Day 219 I traded 30 bone fragments to this sad looking bird for the banana pudding recipe. Over at the dig site I found the final item for the museum, the amphibian fossil. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore, and then I was back in the volcano. Today's search was a lot more successful than yesterday's. I found 3 dragon teeth just laying on the ground on the very same floor, the dragon scale boots inside a rare volcano chest, and enchanted my fishing rod. After a few attempts I got the mastery enchantment, which is exactly what I wanted, and I left the island with a total of 6 dragon teeth. Wednesday morning I checked up on my animals and I saw that the geese have grown up by now, meaning I can collect geese eggs every other day. I had to spend a little bit of money on a few stacks of hay at Marnie's, then dropped off the amphibian fossil at the museum, getting the complete collection achievement, and of course the star drop from Gunther. Commissioned a gold pan from Clint, crafted 35 more kegs for the second wine shed, and was busy at the farm in the evening. And we're skipping right ahead to the final day of the season. To summarize the past 3 days, I was mostly working in the mines, where I finished another Danger in the Deep quest from Mr. Chi. I visited Gunther at the museum again, where everyone in Pelican Town was looking at the complete collection. I really enjoyed this cutscene, this should be in Vanilla Stardew as well. Also, I didn't record this, but Gunther gifted me a Galdoran gem, and I have no idea what to do with this. So if any of you guys know if this item has a use, then please leave a comment down below. And lastly, the henchman almost killed me. Yep, he made a void mayo sandwich for me and I was dumb enough to eat it. Now that I think about it, it's more my fault than his. We're starting off the new year with a visit from Grandpa. Also my gold pan is ready, so that's neat. He said he's very proud of me and that Moonlight Farm is in good hands. For that he gifted me the Statue of Perfection and I love the new sprite it has with the mods installed. The first 2 days of spring were mostly spent in the mines. I know, boring, but I'm going to need so much money this year, not only for the remaining obelisks and the golden clock, but for a whole new farm that I haven't even shown you guys yet. And one of the best money makers is of course making wine, and for that I need a buttload of copper, iron ore, and also wood. However, after my grinding session was done, I realized I had way too little oak resin for my grand plan. I'm not a very organized person, as you can see. I was only able to craft 37 kegs for the second wine shed, which is better than nothing I guess, though I wanted to be done with it that day. Magnus visited me earlier that day, where he told me that the Ministry of Magic have assigned him a pupil that he is to train in the elemental arts. His name is Morgan and he'll be arriving tomorrow morning. You know what that means? Yep, another person to befriend. I had a chat with Grovos later where he introduced me to one of his shadow friends, Nyx. He's kind of like the leader of the shadow people, and he said that they don't want to fight me anymore. He wishes to make peace between us and requested 5,000 void souls. Yeah, about that. Void souls can only be found in the Crimson Badlands, and I'm not too eager to go back to that place, at least not right now. I commissioned an Iridium Pan upgrade from Clint, and then went on a little gifting spree around town, since there's still quite a few people who I don't even have a single heart with. Like Ryle, who I've been ignoring ever since he came here a year ago. Oops. While doing that, I came across Alyssa, where she showed me a new song lyrics she's been working on. I accompanied her to the stage that is located next to Pika's restaurant, so she can start practicing. Lenny showed up in the middle of that, who overheard Alyssa singing, and asked if she was up to do a little performance in front of the town. At first Alyssa seemed very unsure about that, but I encouraged her to try it out, and that I'd be there to support her of course. Last thing I did today was to go to the walnut room where I traded my gems for the deluxe fertilizer and magic bait crafting recipe. The very next morning I got acquainted with Morgan. He showed me one of his new magic tricks, which Magnus really didn't like, and I love how he even has his own room in here. Very nice detail. I was occupied with fishing today. First on the island where I caught an octopus, and when checking the collection tab, it dawned on me that I haven't caught the glacier fish yet. I knew there was something I forgot back in winter. Well, nothing I can do about it right now, just have to wait for winter again. I continued with fishing in the secret woods for a grass carp, and lastly in the cinder subforest where I fished up a king salmon. In the evening I wanted to decorate around the giant crops that I had on the farm, and accidentally destroyed the giant cauliflower with my axe. I was mildly infuriated, to say the least. Let's just hope I can grow another one in time. Day 229, I was chilling with Linus in the morning at the mountain lake. I was patiently waiting for Robin to open up, where I moved all of my fish ponds to the smaller quarry area on my farm. Also, I constructed my first multiplayer cabin. I love using them for decorating. It might look a bit bare bones at the moment, but it's a work in progress. I was busy with doing the remaining Monster Slayer goals on Saturday, also keeping an eye out for any dragon teeth while at the volcano. The final Slayer goal was for Magma Sprites, which I finished later in the evening. I keep forgetting that you don't actually get a reward for doing these. Well, you do for the individual goals, but not for completing all of them. But it's done now, one step closer towards perfection. I made a quick detour to the Crimson Badlands outpost because today Camilla was here, and same as Isaac, she has her own shop inventory with very powerful potions. I bought one Barbarian and one Aegis Elixir, there's the iframes that I wanted. And after that, I was occupied in the Ridge Forest where I was hoping to find a Foxbloom flower, another item for the collection tab that I haven't been able to track down so far. This flower will only spawn on a random Sunday while having the Fox Mask in your inventory. Now, for some reason, I was under the impression that you need the Fox Bracelet in your inventory, the one that Lorenzo gave to me in year 1, and not the mask. I do figure out eventually that I'm carrying the wrong item with me, but yeah, it's gonna take me some time. As expected, I didn't find it that day, though I was able to fish up a Crimson Spike clam from one of the rivers nearby. On 233, it was Lance's birthday, and I gifted him that one gold quality monster mushroom that I had, maxing out another friendship. In town I accepted Evelyn's request, where she wants me to gather 12 leaves for George, then was busy with fishing again. Down in the sewers I caught a radioactive bass. a goldfish by the river, and an amoebi carp, which was the last fish I needed from that area. I also made sure to give Bianca and Diana a gift, picked up the new forage, and bought more seeds from the stall. The following morning I had Lance visiting my island farm. He finished researching the monster crops and asked if I wanted to come with him to the First Slash Guild, since he couldn't have done this without me. Of course I tagged along, and he showed me a new warp point that leads to a brand new area, the Fable Reef, home to the First Slash Guild and probably my favorite looking location in Expanded. It's so pretty here. Lance introduced me to his leader Julene and showed the guild the different monster crops that I cultivated last year. After the meeting, I found myself back on Ginger Island, and I was a bit confused at first since I thought I had the warp point unlocked now that leads to the Fable Reef, and I did, but it takes me a few days to figure out where it is exactly. Back in Ridgeside, I saw that everyone from both villagers gathered around the stage to see Alyssa perform. As promised, I was here for a mental support. Together with Sam, Abigail and Sebastian, Alyssa performed her new song in front of the whole town. I think at least. I must have had earplugs in or something because I didn't hear a single peep. After the concert, I was looking for various forage that I need for a request I accepted from Pika a few days ago. Waking up the next day, I had different clothes on. I was noticeably confused for a second, but the culprit wasn't far off. I'll be taking my stuff back on, thank you very much. I continued my foraging run that day, fished up a Cape tree frog and purchased Gio's portrait from the traveling merchant. Just need a proper spot for that in the house, and there, perfect, love it. While looking for leaks in the Cindersap forest, I came across the trash bear disguised as Totoro. Again, I love playing modded. He asked for an eel, which I handed to him after I completed my foraging run, and then wanted to give him the next item he requested, but he wasn't there anymore. Guess he is not a fan of rain. I visited Apples later, where I saw that he was accompanied by Peaches. Seems like they were having a little party. I found the last leak for Evelyn's request that day, dropped those off at her house, and then I remembered that the warp rune that leads to the Fable Reef is located inside the Wizard's Tower and not at the Nexus. Here I can find new forage that I need for the shipping collection and, more importantly, a whole bunch of new fish, like this viper eel, arrowhead shark, daggerfish, torpedo trout and turret fish, which I believe was the last legendary fish from the expanded mod. Now the fishing tab doesn't look so empty anymore. I got my free coffee machine from Evelyn on 236. I do love me some coffee. In Stardew that is, not in real life. I handed Totoro a sardine and a tortilla. This guy sure is hungry. Then he wanted some sort of burger. I thought at first it was the survival burger, but upon closer inspection it seems like the big bark burger, which means I had to sacrifice that one puppy fish I had. I'm sorry little guy, but I have to do this. Now that Totoro was no longer hungry, he got up, played a little melody, and cleaned up the nasty trash that was everywhere around the cliffs. He even gave Dusty a steak while he flew off like Mary Poppins. What a sweet guy. I purchased the Book of Altruism from Marcello, and now villagers will accept more than 2 gifts per week, which is amazing since there's still a lot of people who I haven't even fully befriended yet. I found the last mountain arugula for Pika that day, dropped everything off at his house, and with that quest now completed, unlocked a new cooking recipe. Today I wanted to go to the volcano, but it's a festival day, meaning that all of the buildings are closed, which was a bit irritating considering I have the key to the town, but whatever. Egg festival it is, and well, at least I can buy strawberry seeds while there. I received the golden piggy bank from Mr. G the next day for earning over 10 million gold in total. Thank you very much, it's adorable. Now that Willie's shop is open again, I was able to visit the island again. Sure wish I had that island obelisk by now, but that's exactly why I was here anyways, to look for dragon teeth. I didn't find any that day. I did get the dragon tooth club, so that's cool. And even better, the pirates were visiting later. I played 3 rounds of dart, which landed me another 3 walnuts, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea where else I would acquire any more walnuts, so I might have to pay the Georgia Parrot for the few that I'm missing, but we'll just see later this year. Willie and Linus came by on 239 to have a chat with Leo. They asked if he wanted to come back to the mainland with them so that he doesn't have to live alone here anymore. I know he has his parrot family, but with no humans around, doesn't seem like a suitable place for a small child. Linus said that he would love to show him the forage spots in the valley, different animals, and so much more. Leo was very unsure about the offer at first, but after his parrot friend gave him an encouraging speech, he agreed to travel back with them. He'll be living in the valley from now on. Without a doubt, one of my favorite vanilla cutscenes. I wanted to go back to the volcano again, but it was the first day of the annual desert festival, and I cannot miss out on that. I got my new cactus body, and of course my free outfit from Emily, can't forget about that, and was busy in the Skull Cavern for the remaining day. With all the buffs that I had, I was zooming through the levels, even making it past floor 100 again. 240 and 241 were pretty much the same, just grinding for eggs in the mines. Other noticeable things that happened during those 2 days. Thankfully, I had another giant cauliflower sprout next to the other giant crops. Now it kinda annoys me that the pumpkin is one tile off compared to everyone else. I'm never gonna be satisfied with this layout. And I gave birth. I didn't even know I was pregnant. It was a girl and I named her Jessica. Being the final day of the event, I bought the magic rock candy, both of the boats, and a bunch of mega bombs. I handed Philip a birthday present, and while at the community greenhouse, harvested my ancient fruit. And I won't mention the harvests anymore, I'm sure you get it by now, I have to harvest these once a week. The rest of the day was spent in the volcano, where I enchanted my watering can. And on Thursday, I found the final dragon tooth that I needed. Unfortunately for me, this was not the last time that I have to go looking for these, far from it, but that's a problem for another day. With the materials, I rushed to the Wizard's Tower and constructed the Earth Obelisk, and of course, the Island Obelisk. Now I do also have 2 other obelisks available, being the one for Ridgeside and the Home Obelisk, which I assume is part of another mod I have installed, which allows me to construct farm buildings on the island farm and even other locations. But I have no idea if they count towards perfection, so I won't bother with building these, for now at least. I was in the Highlands area after that to look for more fish, like this fiber gooby and a gemfish from this cave pond. Again, just love being attacked while fishing, it's so much fun. I sold over 150 bottles of aged wine that day, and I'm always so surprised for how good this sells. Almost 750,000 gold is crazy. I'm not so worried about the golden clock anymore. On Saturday morning, I commissioned the long-awaited premium barn from Robin. Same as the premium coop, the structure is massive, so I had to swap a few things around to make space for it. After that, I remembered to pick up my iridium pan from Clint, and with that, every single tool, including the trash can, are now fully upgraded. Feels good. I was mostly occupied with decorating the pond area that day, and I really like how everything came together. In the late evening, I made a quick detour to the Ridge Falls, where I caught my first Ridgeside legendary fish, being the waterfall snakehead. 245 to 246 were spent in the kitchen working on various cooking recipes that I haven't made before. Looking at the collection tab, I'd say I managed to create around 80% of the ones that were available to me, which is good progress, but I'm still missing quite a few recipes even after all that. Most of these are thankfully tied to villagers, so I just need to work on getting those friendship points up. Later I saw Apples and Peaches at the Junimo village, talking to their friends, and it seems like they were having some sort of a meeting. I wouldn't know, there was a whole lot of sounds, but no idea what they were saying. After this little gathering, I headed over to the vineyard, where all of the Junimos showed up as well and tended to the starfruits that were inside the building. Even the bear was here. Downstairs next to Apple's hut is the starfruit mother tree, as he called it before. Is this another ritual that I'm witnessing? I've had quite enough of these already, if I'm being honest. The Junimos shared their knowledge with me, and now starfruits will sell for a higher amount of money, which is pretty neat and all, but I'm more into the ancient fruit business. Upon visiting the Junimo village the next day, I saw that one of them had a new item in stock, being the super starfruit. Same as Krobos, you can actually live together with apples if you desire to do so. Very cute. I was here to purchase the arrowhead artifact from this little red fella, which I handed over to Ezekiel for a special request he posted. For this, he rewarded me with the FRA combat boots. Definitely one of the best footwear you can get, as they provide a lot of defense and immunity. I had Apples visiting me in the morning, where he thanked me for all of the starfruits I brought to him. I mean, that was like 2 seasons ago, but you're welcome, buddy. More importantly, he told me that he could refurbish the old vineyard for me. To my surprise, I actually get a choice here. Either Apples will repair the building, as he just told me, However, this will prompt him to move back to the Junimo village, or he will stay at the vineyard and I don't get to use it for myself, I assume. Again, I've never seen this cutscene before. As much as I adore apples, I really wanted to have the plot and the house, so I decided to have the place refurbished. I didn't feel that bad though, since now he has peaches, meaning that he always has someone to play with. So together we headed over to the now newly repaired vineyard, where Apples and Peaches said their goodbyes to me, and of course I promised to visit them from time to time. And there it is, a whole new farm for me to play with. I'll come back to this in a few days. On Thursday I had enough coffee beans and tea leaves for Olga's morning hobby request, which she posted at the beginning of spring. Very important quest, as this will unlock the matcha latte cooking recipe for me. Most of the day was spent at the Crimson Badlands. Alyssa was here as well, where I purchased the 3 armor elixirs that she had for a massive defense boost. I was here to get started on collecting those void souls, that's all I wanted to do, when to my absolute shock I came across a demon serpent. Like seriously, what even is this? This area is already filled with dangerous enemies and now I have to deal with a full-on boss? Funny enough, it doesn't even have a health bar, so I guess I am playing Monster Hunter after all. Even with all of the buffs that I had, this thing almost one-shots me. Absolutely crazy. I was battling the beast the entire day, but after 8 PM I actually managed to slay it. Victory was mine. And I didn't even die a single time, surprisingly. The serpent dropped a so-called void shard, another item for the shipping collection, and right after that I saw a hidden entrance near the beast's lair that was guarded by tons of enemies. There's no wonder this area is so incredibly laggy. Look how many monsters there are. Yeah, I'm good. I had my fair share of battles today, I'll come back for that another day. On day number 250, Robin was done with the premium coop construction. Full of excitement, I rushed over to Marty's, and indeed, I can have a bear on my farm now. Not really sure how to feel about that though, but I need their produce for the shipping collection, so Egon and more it is. And also camels are available now, though I already knew about those since they were on the promo picture for the new update. Both the camels and bears already come as adults, and they don't consume any grass outside, which is pretty neat. And by the way, I love the interior of the premium barn. You can really tell how much love went into creating this mod. I had the extremely bright idea to go back to the Badlands that day, unprepared, when I really should have just stayed at home. I was so curious about that cave entrance I spotted yesterday, and I thought I could just run past all of the enemies. Turns out the demon serpent already respawns the next day, love that, and enemies still hit like a truck. I really need to start working on a better ring setup for this area. So after getting my booty handed to me, I returned to the vineyard to start working on the new farm, which kept me occupied the following 2 days. I had a couple of ideas in mind for the plot outside. I didn't just want to plaster everything with ancient fruit again, I think I have enough of those by now. I really wanted to make this a cozy vineyard with lots of fruit trees and different types of crops. Though it was already late spring when I started working on the layout, so for now I only planted the fruit trees. Of course I also decorated the house inside. Unfortunately you cannot change the flooring, nor the wallpaper, so everything looks rather basic, but it still turned out very cozy, if I do say so myself. I decided to decorate the basement as well. I know you can put casks in here if I remember correctly, but I just know if I were to put machines down here, I would 100% forget about those. In honor of apples, I turned the basement into my own little Junimo village. In case you're wondering why I'm glowing green, I was in the ridge earlier that day to yet again look for the foxbloom flower. Of course I didn't find it, however I dug up the children's sketchbook, the second last modded book that I need. Very nice. Over on Ginger Island, I traded in 10 radioactive bars for a second galaxy soul, and lastly I visited the henchman later where he shared his marsh tonic recipe with me. Monday morning I handed Bryle a birthday present, finally getting some friendship points with this guy. Being the first day of summer, I was busy on the field, this time planting over 400 blueberry seeds. I picked up the first honey jars and camel wool from the premium barn, planted the first crops over at the vineyard, except the cheese kindness quest where I need to hand out 50 loved items in 1 week, and before going back home I caught a Lunaloo at the southeast beach on Ginger Island. Since I need the friendship points anyways, I was busy with handing out gifts the next day. This is a super easy quest since rabbit's foot and diamonds are universally loved gifts and I had plenty of those by now. While in the area I caught 2 blade-tailed sturgeons from the pond in the forest, one for a request and the other for cooking. Also visited a movie for the new summer forage and to say hello to Diana, Bianca and Raphael. Lastly I went to the movie theater where I was lucky and got my hands on both the Woombas and Bobo's statue. Day 255 I finished Mr. G's quest and traded my coins for the Hopper crafting recipe. I absolutely hate how expensive this is, and even worse, I know that I am never going to use this. Still, it's required for perfection, and speaking about it, currently we're sitting exactly at 69% at the perfection tracker.
Nice.
Seeing how little progress I made on the crafting menu so far, I spent the remaining day working on that. Once I crafted the slime incubator and egg press, I suddenly had the urge to construct a slime hutch. I've accumulated almost every type of slime egg so far, except for the tiger slime egg, and I have so much space on the farm anyways, so might as well build one. Then I was mostly busy with crafting again. Same as cooking, this is rather boring and tedious to do, but necessary for reaching that perfection goal. Friday morning I went on a foraging run through Ridgeside, and after I was done with that, I visited the Summit farm for the first time. The place Ray talked about all the way back at the beginning of year 2, located beyond the forest at the top of the mountain, as the name suggests. The reason why I haven't bothered coming here before is that I don't really need another huge farm, but also in order to properly use it, you first need to upgrade it over at Odd Jobs. And if memory serves me correct, then these upgrades are very pricey. But this is one of my favorite modded farms. If I could start my playthrough on this, I would definitely do it. And since there isn't that much left to do in the game, I thought, yeah, why not focus on that now? So I waited for Sean to get out of his bed the next morning and I had a look at the upgrade list. The first one is just for the house. It's not that expensive, but it needs a whole lot of hardwood, which I don't have at the moment. I spent the afternoon in a movie where I got a tour around the area from Bianca. During the cutscene I noticed a little cave entrance next to the waterfall, which turned out to be another place for foraging. Today I managed to find the last Mountain Chico for Pika's special request. There is one exotic ingredient quest each season and it's very important that I do this since they each unlock a new cooking recipe. It was Scarlett's birthday on Sunday and for the life of me I couldn't seem to find her on the map. Thankfully I remembered that she lives in a place called Pondwood, formerly known as Grampleton Field, which is only accessible via train. Thank god I already played with this mod before, because otherwise I would have never knew this place existed. I headed over and handed her the rabbit's foot, then was looking for void souls in the Badlands for the remainder of the day. I accepted Caroline's Island ingredient quest on 260 for I believe the 5th time now. Luckily for me she wants taro root this time. These are very easy to get as I can just trade a few bone fragments for the seeds over at the island trader. So I grabbed all the ones nearby from the dig site, but turns out that wasn't even necessary as for once I was actually smart enough to save the ones I've gotten so far in one of my chests. I planted all of the seeds in Grandpa's shed and now I just have to wait a few days for them to fully mature. Tuesday was spent in the highlands to gather hardwood as I am still missing so much wood for the Summit farm repairs. I also purchased a few decos from the dwarf shop while there, and I learned that I can actually summon a roach here, which is very handy for traversing the massive area. Before heading back home, I bought 2 crabshell rings from Marlon. Like I said, I need better rings for the Crimson Badlands, and higher defense should help me to survive a bit better. The next 4 days were spent in the volcano dungeon looking for yet again more dragon teeth. Unfortunately for me, I still need I think 6 more for them for certain crafting recipes. I did manage to find 2 during these days, but yeah, that's about it. Also I combined an iridium band with one of the crabshell rings and the second one with a napalm ring. No idea if this is going to make a difference, but I guess we're gonna find out sooner or later. A green rain blessed me on day 266, which was perfect as this fully matured all of the hardwood seeds that I planted just a few days ago, allowing me to commission the Summit house upgrade from Odd Jobs. I had Diana visiting me on the farm the following morning. I haven't had someone stop by in a hot minute, so I was pleasantly surprised about this. She was in awe about my farm layout. Thank you very much, I spent way too much time decorating, I'm glad it finally pays off. And asked me about farming tips since Diana wants to become a farmer herself. I told her the secret of being a good farmer is of course to talk to your crops every day. Everyone knows that of course. I've had enough of the same old volcano grind, so instead I decided to head to the Crimson Badlands, my favorite area. I made sure to swap on my new rings, chucked down on the best elixirs that I had, and carefully made my way towards the cave entrance on the other side of the desert. And with careful, I mean that I just sprinted past all of the enemies and made sure to immediately eat a whole block of cheese whenever my health got low. Inside the cave were lots of treasure chests on the ground, and a voice suddenly began speaking to me. Not this again. I really wonder if this is just another lone entity, or actually someone that I know, but never mind that, in the center of the cave sits an ornamental chest with a prismatic shard-shaped keyhole. Very ominous. Nothing I can do here right now, so I teleported back to the farm. The rest of the day was spent giving out gifts, and while doing that, I came across Morgan, who was studying for his next exam. And actually, this cutscene was kinda sad, because he told me that I'm the only person who ever says hello to him. Despite Magnus getting a few visitors here and there, everyone kinda just ignores him. He also mentioned Camilla and said that she gives him the creeps. Same buddy, same. Don't worry Morgan, I'll be sure to stop by as often as I can. Marlon greeted me early in the morning on day 268. Okay, it was cute when Diana did it, she gets a free pass because she's a kid. But seriously, stop showing up at my house at 6 AM in the morning. He informed me about a very important meeting later at the guild and expects me to be there. Surely this is related to the mysterious cave I found yesterday. And right after that, I had Mr. Chi himself outside my door. What did I just say? He told me about a new song that he added to my jukebox, being the StardewValley expanded trailer. Why thank you very much. Obviously I had to check that out, and for the occasion I turned up the music slider in the options menu. Super cozy, I do love me some piano music. Let's just hope this is not copyrighted, for my sake. I went to the summit farm after that to see if the upgrade was already done, and I just love that you can see Ian and Sean working on the building. Such a nice detail. I haven't visited the Stardew saloon in quite a while, but I wasn't here for drinks and music. Nope, I came to play Junimo card. Yep, you heard me. Only reason being that after dying a few times, this will unlock a new book for me over at Marcella's stall. I did actually manage to find all 3 fruits and complete the first level at one point, only to immediately fail at the next level. Mad respect to anyone who beat the story mode, I genuinely hate this minigame. Later I waited together with Lance for the meeting to start, where once inside, Marlon talked about rare sightings of legendary monsters that we have to investigate. There's one creature in each of the expanded areas, the Marshlands, Highlands, and the Crimson Badlands, starting the legendary trio quest. I thought at first he was talking about this giant black serpent that is roaming in the desert, but turns out it's actually smaller critters that are hard to find and just have more HP than the normal versions. Tempered monsters I see. Of course this piqued my interest, so I began looking for those legendary beasts the very next day. First I went to the Marshlands in search for the purple mushroom crab. I had a brawl with one of the not-so-friendly neighborhood ghosts, and lost, but went straight back after paying my medical bill where I found it shortly after. As mentioned before, these guys have a lot of health, but as long as they don't one-shot me, I'm good. After a lot of smacks on the head, I defeated the crab and for that got a mega purple mushroom. The rarest mushroom in the world, according to the item description. Up next was the legendary gold slime located in the Highlands. There were so many slimes in the forest that day that I actually ended up heading back home for a second to pick up the slime charmer ring. Finding the gold slime was relatively easy, he was kinda just there the second I came back to the area. Once defeated, he dropped a whole bunch of different slime eggs, even the tiger slime egg and a golden one. Very nice. Last on the list was the sand scorpion in the Crimson Badlands. I made sure to be extra careful here, as some of the scorpions that spawn have sonic speed for some reason. They just suddenly sprint at you out of nowhere. I had no luck with finding it that day, however on Friday I spotted it almost instantly. Same as the other two monsters, he's easy to tell apart from the regular ones since he has a brighter color palette. After a good 2 in-game hours of battling the beast, he finally went down, dropping a magic lamp as loot. Now, I was a bit unsure on what to do next. The quest log states that I have to deliver the 3 monster drops to Marlon, but I didn't really want to do that. See, I need the monster loot for the shipping collection, and if I hand over the items to Marlon, well, they disappear, and right now I'm not really in the mood to track down these monsters again, so I'm gonna hold on to these for now. After my trip to the desert, I went to check out my newly refurbished Summit farmhouse. Not really sure if this was worth 500 hardwood logs, but it's done now, and I do love how the house looks. The next upgrade available at Oddjobs is the climate control, and it is exactly as good as it sounds. Being able to plant any crop all year around is crazy good, but it comes at a cost. First I need to get the seeds. Most of them were bought over at the Junimo village. I then crafted the rest myself and commissioned the upgrade. I'm in no hurry to get the golden clock just yet. 272, I harvested the taro root inside the shed and shipped 100 of those. I was in the ridge to gather spiritual essence and mountain mistbloom flowers, which I dropped by this weird looking serpent. Remember the cursed greenhouse on the hike trail, where I got a quest a while ago and said I didn't care about it? Yeah, I do now. I had to collect 15 mountain mistbloom, 10 sweet gemberries, and 5 rubies. I returned to the hike trail after midnight with the items in my inventory, and while I could enter the building, nothing happened. So that was a bit weird. On a brighter note, I finally got the solar panel crafting recipe from Caroline. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore. The whole day was pretty uneventful, so let's just skip ahead to later, where after midnight I returned to the greenhouse again, but this time a cutscene triggered. The spirit told me that I completed the request, and with that lifted the curse that was on the building. Bliss showed up after that and told me I was free to use the greenhouse if I wanted to. Can never have too many of those. Since I didn't really know what else to plant in here, I decided to just put down more ancient fruit, as well as some of the leftover starfruit seeds that I had. It's not a very pretty building, but it'll get the job done. It was community day, which was perfect, as I had accepted another cheese kindness quest the other day, so I was busy with handing out gifts in here. Which continued until 276, where I finished the quest, rewarding me with another 25 G-gems. I traded them in for the bluegrass starter recipe, which thankfully was the last crafting recipe from the gem shop. I switched the mine's difficulty so that I can gather radioactive ore in here, then was once again handing out gifts. The grind never stops. Checking Oddjobs the next day, I saw that they were already done with the climate control and there's a new commission available, the sprinkler upgrade. I need me one of those, so I got me one of those. As mentioned before, I was in the mines today and I came to realize that looking for radioactive ore is a lot more difficult than just regular iron ore. I only found a handful of scraps despite being down here all day. The search continued on Friday, where I got a galaxy soul from a monster drop. That's a first. I knew that big slimes in the Skull Cave have a small chance of dropping them, but not from any other monsters. I need to check what the drop rates are on this. The whole reason why I was gathering radioactive ore in the first place was so that I can trade it into the island bird for another galaxy soul, but now that I got the last one, I'm outta here. With the 3 galaxy souls now in my possession, I went to the volcano where I forged them onto my sword, creating the Infinity Blade, getting a massive damage boost and even better crit chance. My Stingray Pond blessed me today with 1 dragon tooth, and with that I had just enough to craft a mini forge. Really wish I had that a day earlier, but that's one less crafting recipe out of the way. Morgan stopped by at my farm earlier, where he told me about his test today deep in the woods and that he would like me to be there. Sure thing, buddy. I took care of my last summer harvest, both on the farm and on the vineyard, and after I was done with that, I met up with Morgan and Magnus. The test required a lot of concentration on Morgan's part, and after a few minutes, all of a sudden tons of forest animals started to surround him. The wizard was taken aback by Morgan's powers and proudly declared that he passed his exam. From now on, my farm animals will produce higher quality goods. I don't know what that has to do with Morgan's exam, but I'll take it. I was mostly working on the vineyard today. Now that all of the fruit trees have fully matured, I started decorating the outside area. In preparation for tomorrow, I purchased a whole bunch of fall seeds from Piers, and later in the evening, once again enjoyed the magnificent dance of the moonlight jellies. Told you I'm never skipping this event. First day of fall, and I will never get tired of how beautiful the farm looks during this season. Well, except for the dead crops, but you get my point. I was busy with planting crops on the farm, this time being a buttload of cranberry seeds. Didn't forget about the vineyard, where I placed more cranberry seeds, but also grape vines to match the vineyard aesthetics. Checking up on odd shops later, I saw that the next available upgrade for the summit farm would be an ore area. For some reason this needs a whole lot of hardwood again, which I didn't really care for grinding right now. Once again I accepted the charity wishlist from Maeve, but this time I was able to finish it the same day, thanks to the animal products I've been hoarding. Got some good money from that as well. While at the Amethyst mansion, I spotted Irene outside on the balcony. She just had a talk with Maeve about resigning her job, but then Maeve was very understanding about her decision, since she admires self-made success and is fully supportive of Irene's decision. She's been wanting to travel around for quite some time now, so I was very happy for her, but she will still visit Ridgeside from time to time. And the very next morning, she already had packed and is leaving for Suzu City. No time to waste, I guess. I dropped off a birthday gift for Zane. Love how Irene is leaving on his birthday, very dramatic. Then I was busy in a movie to pick up the new fall forage. While in the area I came across Lunna and her little sister Diana, who were hanging out in this cave. Diana was fantasizing about the idea of being human for a day, and that prompted Lunna to remember a spell that Magnus showed her a while back. For this we all needed to hold hands together, because I'm a vessel for magic apparently, and within a blink of an eye, Diana was transformed into a human, while Lunna was transformed into her old purple self. I think Diana's human portrait might be my favorite one in the game. She looks so cute. The spell is only temporary, but to make the best out of it, we went into town to scare the other villagers with Diana's new form. After the shenanigans ended, I had a look at the stall where I finally saw 2 out of the 4 movie exclusive cooking recipes. Although one was unfortunately a bit buggy, as you can see, but this was huge for me as I've been starting to get a bit worried when I will unlock these recipes. At least I have one now that I can make back at home. I traded in all of my mystery boxes to the raccoon's wife for magic rock candy, since I'm not opening the golden mystery boxes anymore, and this trade offer is way too good not to use. It was raining on day 283, which allowed me to look for a sockeye salmon in the Ridgeside River. He was quite hard to catch, but after a little while I reeled it in, and now I only have 2 fish left to catch. I started with decorating the summit farmhouse later, which carried over to the next day. When checking the carpenter later, I saw that I can even place buildings on the summit farm, which had me incredibly excited as I was still unsure on what to do with this massive plot of land. I finished the interior of the farmhouse later. Friday was nothing special, just me handing out gifts again, so let's just skip over to Saturday, where I visited Susan in her home. She was busy with crafting a wardrobe for a friend, but was having trouble with the metal bearings. I offered to help her out and finish the recipe. As a thanks, she taught me a few new crafting tricks, which means that casks, kegs and preserve jars now require less wood to craft. Really wish I had this knowledge a bit sooner, but thanks. I wanted to buy starfruit seeds from Sandy's, but she's just never working in Expanded it seems. So with nothing left to do, I began planning the outside area of the summit farm, which continued on day 287. I harvested my starfruit on Ginger Island, and with those commissioned my first 2 Junimo huts for the summit farm. 288 to 289 were spent in the Skull Cavern, gathering any type of ore I came across, but also for stone. Building Junimo huts costs a ton of stone for some reason, and for the first time during this playthrough I was short on that. The grind paid off as this allowed me to craft another 30 kegs, finishing the second keg shed. I am so tired of grinding iron ore at this point. I accepted Pika's Fall Exotic Ingredient quest, so I was busy with collecting lava lilies around the ridge for the next few in-game days, as well as working on the summit farm. And yes, I know I'm skipping ahead quite a bit here and there, and I'm sorry about that, but well, let's face it, I'm in year 3 now, nearing the end of my perfection goal, and there just isn't that much left to do in the game, and I don't want to bore you guys either. So usually when I'm skipping days, it's either because I'm decorating something, or I'm simply doing chores that just aren't worth mentioning anymore, so don't think you're missing out on something, because you're really not. On day 294, I finished Pika's special request, commissioned a shed upgrade for the summit farm, very excited about that one. Then I was visiting a movie where I stumbled upon Raphael in his office who was talking to his dad. I've seemed to have come at a bad time since he was scolding Raphael for his past actions, that he is to do better, and that he is disappointed in him. Yikes. To cool down a bit, we went to a nearby tavern where Raphael opened up about his past. About 10 months ago, the town was attacked by bandits that wanted to rob this place. Raphael was leading the people and tried to give everyone commands, but at some point, things started to go horribly wrong. The southern side of Umui was poorly protected, and that's where the bandits went in. Though unfortunately, he realized that when it was already too late. Bianca was in the back protecting the elderly and kids with a spell when the bandits came towards them. They almost died that day, and only thanks to the magic explosion that Lunna caused while she opened the portal to Umui, they were able to live that day. The explosion was so violent that it must have scared off the intruders. I don't really see how any of this is Raphael's fault, considering that he was just trying to help, and that's exactly what I said to him, which seemed to have lifted his spirits a bit. On Monday I forgot to record for the first half of the day, so that's cool. I paid the golden Georgia parrot to find the remaining 7 walnuts for me, then was inside the volcano for about 30 seconds where I immediately found the last dragon tooth that I was missing, and with that crafted the island warp totem. No more looking for dragon teeth. I was under the impression that this was the last crafting recipe I was missing, but the perfection tracker says otherwise. Turns out Ridgeside adds 1 new crafting recipe, which is for the rich warp totem, and to get that, I need to finish a special request for Mr. Agua. Let's just hope the request pops up at some point. After going to bed, I saw the golden parrots flying around Ginger Island, tracking down the missing walnuts. And Morris is also there. I wonder what he's up to these days. Today was the StardewValley fair. I wasn't really planning on participating this year, however there is still a modded book that I was missing. This required me to place 6 artisan goods on the range display and win first prize. For that I brought some of my aged ancient fruit wine, and thankfully this was enough for the win. The shop didn't seem to have anything new, so I just picked the prize ticket and went home after that. Upon checking my mail the next day, I received the Artisan Guild manual. Now my artisan machines will produce faster and more efficiently, which is crazy good. I might need more ancient fruit plants after all. I made a quick trip over to the desert to visit Sandy's, where I purchased a few mannequins from her shop. These got displayed in the newly upgraded shed on the Summit Farm, and if you watched my other 100 days video, then you might already know where this is going. So for the uninitiated, in my very first StardewValley 100 days video I made something that I called a hat shed, where I placed a whole bunch of alien rare crows inside a shed and, well, put hats on them. And I could just do the same with the rare crows, but now that they are modded, I can still put hats on them, but they look a bit off, so I decided to go with mannequins this time, plus I can also put clothes on them. This is more for me than for you guys, just so that I have a bit more to do in the game, and I have so many different hats and shirts at this point, so why not display them somewhere? And as I've said before, I do really enjoy tailoring in this game. I've been handing out gifts almost on a daily basis at this point, and it shows in the menu. I had most people at max hearts now when I noticed that Raphael's dad, Salvador, suddenly popped up in the NPC menu. And he has his own friendship meter. Why? I thought there was finally a light at the end of the tunnel. Nope, it just never stops, does it? Though still to this day, I'm not really sure if this was maybe a bug, because I've never seen his dad anywhere outside of that one cutscene. Not in the valley, not in Ridgeside, and not even in Umui. So no idea what's going on here. Anyways, I was busy again working on the hat shed. I'll be adding more stuff whenever I have time, but for now I was already very happy with how it turned out. On this beautiful Monday morning, I had Diana stop by on the farm. She had something important to show me and insisted on me coming over to a movie this instant. Together we headed over where she showed me this magical new cave that had lots of space for crops inside. It is indeed another greenhouse. Diana used to plant crops in here together with her sister Lunna, but after she moved to Pelican Town, Diana couldn't maintain it anymore because it was simply too much work for her. Since it would be a waste to just leave it be, she allowed me to use the building from now on. This might be my new favorite greenhouse design. I love it. 303 was a good luck day, so I decided to head out and look for those legendary monsters again. First I was in the highlands in search for the gold slime. I didn't find it. Then later in the marshlands for the mushroom crab, which I also didn't find. But hey, at least I got a new shirt, another piece for the hat shed. On Wednesday, however, I had more luck and came across the gold slime. following with the mushroom crab the next day. And just a little tip, in case someone is watching this who is also playing with the expanded mod, bring the ice rod when you're looking for those legendary monsters. Unlike the giant serpent in the desert, these creatures are not immune against any of the trinkets, and with the ice rod it's pretty easy to take them down. Last monster was the blue scorpion in the Badlands, which I found instantly, like 10 seconds after I came to this area. Taking it down with little issues this time, and once back on the farm, shipped off the gold slime egg, mega purple mushroom, and the magic lamp. I gave Marlon the duplicates, and with that, finished the legendary trio quest. I had Isaac waiting for me outside the next day, where he congratulated me on hunting down those monsters, and that my reward can be found at the Castle Village outpost. Of course I was eager to find out what it could be, and just as he said, there was 2 chests waiting for me. Inside was a sword called Monster Splitter and a heavy shield. The greatsword is, as expected, very slow, but has a good amount of damage, but the shield I didn't really understand how to use. To my surprise, you can actually enchant the sword, and with emeralds you can modify the speed of a weapon, bringing it down from -12 speed to now only -4, which makes this significantly more comfortable to use. So long, Infinity Blade, you did me a great service. I tried out my new baby at the poor souls that were roaming around in the rich forest. Still, haven't found the foxbloom flower by the way. And we are already in winter. First objective for today was to go fishing. I chucked down my seafoam pudding, patiently waited for the target to bite, and after a little while I caught the glacier fish. Accepted the final exotic ingredient request from Pika while in Ridgeside, then fished in the forest where I got my hands on the Deep Ridge Angler, earning me the Master Angler achievement for catching every single fish in the game. Not only did I get the achievement, but also the last missing star drop from Willy, another step towards perfection. The good news doesn't stop there, as I finally came to realize that I've been carrying around the wrong item with me whenever I went looking for the foxbloom. Thank God Google exists. So I got myself a second fox mask by standing in front of this statue for a few in-game hours. Wednesday to Thursday were spent gathering materials for Pika's request, which were dropped off on Friday. This allowed me to buy the last modded cooking recipe, the Winter Night Feast. Then I spent the entire rest of the day down in the Skull Cavern in search for Omni Geodes. Saturday was the same, while here I also made sure to keep an eye on the map for Gus. At this point I was missing one single cooking recipe, being the tropical curry you can only purchase from Gus while he's on the island resort. And in case you're wondering what happened to the Umui cooking recipes, that IRL day I decided to remove the Lunna Astray mod. Yeah, so remember when I saw the cooking recipe that was bugged in the stall, and that Raphael's dad suddenly showed up on the NPC menu? I tried my best to figure out what was wrong with the mod. I tried updating everything, taking out the mod and reinstalling it, but then that caused other mods not to work anymore. And the thing is, this is just a tiny expansion pack. This is not Ridgeside nor Stardew Expanded, where I can just look up stuff on the wiki, or yeah, Google it. It was basically impossible to find any information about this mod. And the strange thing is that on the official Nexus website, it even says that the Lunna Astray mod is supposed to have crafting recipes, which I've never even seen before. I saw there was one other person who had the same issue like me, who tried to befriend Raphael's dad, but he never showed up anywhere. This caused me a lot of headaches, and this is also one of the reasons why it took so long to record everything this time, as I was occupied with finding a solution for this, and this took several days. So in the end, I just decided to remove the mod, which really sucked, as I spent so much time and effort befriending all of those NPCs, and I actually really came to like Diana. I thought she was the most interesting person in that mod pack. I know the majority of you guys probably don't care about this anyways, but I just wanted to mention it quickly in case there was someone wondering about this and why I'm not mentioning, well, any of those NPCs anymore. On a more exciting note, when visiting the henchman the following day, he showed me a new hidden area behind his house. Ever since he lost his job, he's been working on this little side project in his free time, and he's possibly schizophrenic? That's a bit scary. In the midst of talking, his former boss, the witch lady, suddenly made an appearance. I guess she approves of the new shrines. Most of them are not that interesting, but the one on the right side gives me 1 money back tree seed if I donate 20 supernatural goo to it, and I want me one of those. After that I made sure to equip the fox mask this time, as it was Sunday again, and oh boy, today it happened. I found the foxbloom flower in the rich forest. I even got 2 of those, thanks to having the botanist perked. I shipped it off and earned the full shipment achievement. And it gets even better as I had just over 10 million gold sitting in my bank account. If only real life was that easy. I headed over to the Wizard's Tower and constructed the golden clock. I decided to place it in the middle of the pathway this time and make smaller decorations around it. So now that I have the golden clock, what's left to do in the game? As I said before, I'm missing the tropical curry recipe from Gus, one crafting recipe from Ridgeside, and get full hearts with a couple more people. And speaking about people, the henchman got his job back after all. Good for you, buddy. I know what you're thinking, Sav, why did you grind for those Omni Geodes the other day? And I'm so glad you asked. I've had my eye on a very specific item from the Desert Trader, being the magic cowboy hat, and I just had enough Omni Geodes to afford it. I wasted almost all of my prismatic shards on the tailoring machine to try and get those damn prismatic genie pants. If you tailor with prismatic shards, the results are randomized. But it was so worth it. New trip acquired. Fashion is the true endgame after all. Day 318, I went back to the Crimson Badlands to gather Void Souls, but also I was curious about the ornamental chest in the cave I found a while back, but I still couldn't interact with it. If you know, then feel free to leave a comment down below, because even now, after recording everything, I still haven't figured it out. I was very confused at this point on why I was still sitting at 97% at the Great Friends meter on the perfection tracker. I think I was missing maybe one heart with Kiwi, and yeah, so turns out there is still a person that I haven't even met yet. Remember all the way back in year 1 when I came across Peepo and Acorn who said they were looking for someone? Yeah, I'm also looking for that someone. To actually meet this mystery person, I had to return to the hike trail after 11 PM on a clear night. And yes, I absolutely googled that, there's no way I would have figured that out by myself. A shadowy creature lurked in the dark next to this abandoned house, who upon interacting with, told me to come back again tomorrow. And that's exactly what I did, where after 11 PM I was allowed to enter the building and got introduced to Andrea, a shape-shifting elf. She had a little challenge for me in mind, where she will go and hide as an object, and if I manage to find her, she will reward me with a prize. Seems a bit random, but I'm up for a little game of hide and seek. On Tuesday morning, I delivered exactly 60 Void Souls to Krobus, then was looking for Andrea around Ridgeside, and actually managed to spot her rather quickly. I'd like to say that was skill, but really it was a sheer coincidence. The rest of the day was spent working on the summit farm, and later also visited the night market to buy a few more decorations. 325, I bought a bunch of different seeds from Pierre's. As I mentioned before, with the climate control upgrade that I got, I can plant whatever seeds I want now, which is pretty sweet. Upon returning to Moonlight Farm later in the evening, I had Krobus waiting for me, who informed me about his friends that I've gathered in the nearby mines and are doing something with the Void Souls that I delivered yesterday. That sounds a bit ominous, to say the least. Together with Krobus we headed over to the mines, and we found ourselves in some sort of a ritual chamber with Nyx and a lot of the other shadow folks. The Void Souls were placed in the middle of the room, and somehow they created even more shadow people with that. Once again, getting a whole lot of red flags from this. But turns out this was actually a good thing. Thanks to the Void Souls I brought, the shadow people were reunited with their loved ones, and from now on, they won't attack me anymore. To trigger the next cutscene with Andrea, I had to wait for a sunny Thursday. In the meantime, I got my hands on the Return Scepter, which you can purchase from Krobus. It's basically an infinite supply of farm warp totems, and I don't think I've ever had this item before. Very expensive, but now I'm free to purchase whatever I want anyways. I finished the village cleanup request from Lenny that day, where I had to collect 120 pieces of trash, and for doing that, the town plaza received a smaller makeover, including new benches, lights, and even a fountain. And yes, I am still waiting for Gus to visit Ginger Island. This guy sure loves sitting on his couch and doing absolutely nothing for several hours. On day 333, I spotted Acorn and Peepo at the hike trail together with Peepo's mom, Sari. They are here in search of Andrea, and I'm the only person who knows where she's hiding. I was reluctant to tell them about her whereabouts when suddenly Andrea appeared behind us. At first she was very happy to see me, but her mood quickly changed once she saw the strangers next to me. She wanted to make a run for it when Sari called her princess. We took the conversation inside the old house, where Sari explained to us that Andrea is the long-lost princess of the Elven Kingdom of Verde. Peepo, Acorn and Sari are part of the royal army and were tasked to venture the continent to find her. She goes on about saying that the princess was stolen from the kingdom by humans. I wonder if this is connected to Ray's and Belinda's storyline somehow. But anyways, obviously this was a lot to take in for Andrea. She couldn't quite grasp what Sari just told her and needed a moment to herself, which is understandable. Peepo and the others were overjoyed now that they had finally found the princess and wanted to take her back home to the kingdom, but Andrea didn't want it to leave. This place is her home after all. She asked if we could still do our little hide-and-seek game and to not treat her any differently now that she might be a princess. She doesn't want anything to change. Now I can start gifting her items, and side note, don't give her cheese. She hates it. Acorn, Peepo and his mom are also staying near the old house from now on, though they are non-giftable NPCs. And this was also the last cutscene for her, according to the wiki at least. I do hope they plan on adding more stuff to her, as right now she doesn't even have her own heart events. So this was the last time I mention her, since the only thing I do now is to gift her rabbit's food every day until I have 10 hearts. Besides doing that, the rest of winter was spent working on the summit farm. It's really weird seeing these crops bloom in a snowy environment. But yeah, hello, year number 4. So turns out I missed Mr. Aqua's 2-heart event, and this is the only requirement in order for the special request to pop up. Again, thank God the wiki exists. For that I had to enter his basement inside the research facility. Down there I saw Mr. Aqua perform advanced magic to do his laundry more easily. He didn't enjoy me snooping around, and I don't know why I'm surprised about this. I have basic magic myself, but okay. I guess you're supposed to see this cutscene a lot earlier, but I didn't even know that he had a basement in the first place. I told him that I possess the knowledge of the arcane myself, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. Now I just need to wait for him to post the quest. It is day 342 and I am slowly running out of patience with Gus. Every single day I sit inside the saloon for several hours, waiting for Gus to leave the island, and it just never happens. I am not afraid to use violence at this point, just that you know. But that seemed to have done the trick. On Sunday morning, it finally happened. Gus is leaving for the island. I repeat, Gus is leaving for the island. This is not a drill, guys. I waited patiently for him to arrive on the resort, and there it is. Tropical curry, you are mine at last. By the way, sorry about the bomb yesterday. We're all good now, right? The recipe was easy to make. 1 coconut, 1 pineapple, and a hot pepper. Getting the Gourmet Chef achievement for making every single cooking recipe. Also random side note, but Gio gifted me a foxbloom flower that day. Really wish you gave that to me a bit sooner, but thank you nonetheless. At this point I was about halfway done with Andrea's friendship points, and I am still waiting for Mr. Aqua to post a quest for the warp totem recipe, which could take a little while, so I'll just cut to when I'm there.
2,000 years later.
Which brings us to day 358, I think at least. Mr. Aqua posted the Geology Research Special Order where he requests a random type of geode, and in my case that was frozen geodes, so I had to spend a little time down in the mines to gather the ones I was missing. Once I had everything, I dropped those off at his lab in the evening, and for that he sent me the Ridgeside warp totem recipe the next day. I already had the necessary materials for it and acquired the Craftmaster achievement. The last thing that stood between me and perfection. It feels incredibly nice to see 100% on the perfection tracker. Waking up on Wednesday morning, I felt the mountain summit calling to me and was greeted by a whole bunch of birds outside. And yes, I had an alien capsule land right in front of my farmhouse. I hope this is not a bad omen or something. I immediately headed over to the summit where together with Gio we watched the sunset. I'm pretty sure this blue bar is not supposed to be there, but there's very little I can do about it right now. Buggy cutscene or not, I was incredibly proud of me in that moment. This is only my second time achieving perfection and my first time doing it in a modded run. There's only one thing left to do, and that is of course to go to the volcano and to pick up the Concerned Ape mask from this little monkey. Truly a piece of art. This got displayed inside the headshed together with the cursed mannequin. Now my collection is completed. And yeah, that marks the end of the StardewValley Mega Modded series. If you know of any other games that would be great for a 100 days video, then please let me know in the comments down below. I've been working on this project for over 2 months now, so I would very much appreciate if you would leave a like, it helps me out a ton, and maybe even subscribe for future 100 days content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.